Hello.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Hi, you guys. So sorry that we're running a little late. I'm missing a member. I don't know where she's at.
Christine went MIA.
Yeah, she's all MIA. Throwing us off. We're like, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense.
We're missing our third person.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you guys up to? Happy Friday.
Living chaos. How are you?
Live in chaos. Look, everybody, a few minutes to hop on. You guys can just stare at Michelle's beautiful face.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm just a little I'm just getting over that whole Johnny Depp argument with Amber Heard. I'm taking that all in still. He showed his whole.
Hi, Cement Shoes.
Hello.
Well, I haven't even heard the second one.
You hear
this
him.
Has been it's like, well, we missed last week because I worked on my paper for psychology. Did I tell you what I wrote about?
No.
I had to do, it's abnormal psych, so I had to diagnose somebody from a movie.
Oh.
And so I picked the Joker from Batman.
Good pick. That's a good one, though. That's a good one. Go ahead.
And I had to write 6 pages on why I think and diagnose this dude and why I think in things that happened in the movies. Hi, Steffa. Why I think that. So I diagnosed him. I went super easy, and I did a narcissistic personality disorder. So I had to write it was 5.5 pages total of why I think that the Joker from Batman, in seriousness, why things that he's done to Batman. That it was a very interesting way to have to write a paper. So,
okay.
But I procrastinate like I do basically everything in life. So I had started it, and then I was like, I'm gonna get ahead of the game, blah 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 blah, and then I pushed it off. Hi, Tanya, Amelia Sparkle. I pushed it off okay, I'm good. I started it. I'm ready, and then I was like, oh crap, that's
do.
That's what I do right now. I need to actually get back to it.
Doing these hours. What am I going to do?
Right. I think I turned it in at it's due at 11:59. I think I turned it in at 11:30.
Oh,
or maybe even earlier. I actually think I got done a little bit earlier. But typically I turn stuff in at 11:30. Let's do it at 11:59.
Did you know when you get that back? The day
Nope, I don't have any. I have no idea what I got on it yet.
I want to know. I want to know.
I know what I got.
Joker. Yep.
Maybe I'll do a pre-recorded live, and I'll read to you guys why I think that the Joker from Batman has narcissistic personality disorder.
Absolutely does. Absolutely.
It's not even from Batman necessarily, because it's from the movie The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that old. It's literally just the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just his origin story on why he becomes that. Hi, CDT.
Hello.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I don't even know how I got started on that. Oh, so we didn't have a live last Friday because I procrastinated and had to do that instead. And then we have 2 weeks of true crime. And then there was this big trial this week, and I don't know how many people in chat watched it. Did you watch the Tony Todt trial? Tony Todt? I can't ever say his last name wrong every time. Todt.
Remember when we first started talking about him? The dog. Just we couldn't get over the dog. No, you didn't.
The dog. I mean, obviously the kids, but so you guys know, did anybody in chat watch that trial by chance? Or does anybody know the case? This is the quickest murder trial I think I've ever witnessed. So I planned on discussing, hey Missy, I planned on discussing it tonight without the intention of actually already having a verdict. I didn't know that it was going to be that quick and done. And I don't think the defense actually did either, because when the prosecution rested, the defense was we're not really ready. We told our people not to show up yet. And Maria, you were listening to the podcast. I think BR the Star listened to the podcast too. She said it to me, but I couldn't fit everything in with Johnny Depp, and yeah, he's even more arrogant and repulsive than Chazzle Dazzle. Cement Shoes, he totally is. So I didn't actually know that though. So the way that things kind of unfolded, I had seen bits and pieces. Obviously, we knew when it happened a couple of years ago. Because okay, I'll do a little backstory in case anybody doesn't know it. I heard of it, but didn't want to hear the gore from the trial. It actually wasn't as gory as I imagined it to be.
Not at all.
Hi, Brown's Mermaid. So back in January of 2020, and if you guys want to watch the trial with some commentary, you go to the Ward case studies, because she does a great job covering the trials, plus actually like stopping and talking about like how it means, because I won't be able to go through obviously all that. But so January 2020, the family is trying to figure out where this, where they are, because nobody can get a hold of them in over a week. So they call in for a welfare check. And I believe it was January 12th or January 13th. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me. But they go check the house. And when they finally get into the house in Celebration, Florida, the family, which is 3 children and the mom, are all deceased. And the family dog, Breezy, it's like a little Opsalopsa, is deceased. Hi, S. Hockett. Yeah, so the family dog is also deceased in the dog bed. And then here's Mr. Tony, the dad, wandering around like, as Lori Vallow would say, like a zombie.
Just hanging out at the family.
It's totally crazy. They figure out that this family has actually been deceased for a while.
A couple weeks.
At least. Up to about 3 weeks.
Yep.
So I remember it all going down, and I remember him changing his confession, and then of course with like COVID, the trial kept getting postponed. So I hadn't actually been too far into it, and I even watched it and Kill the Dog, right?
Exactly.
So they do so it goes to trial. Trial starts this Monday. Jury selection was last week. Trial starts Monday. Very, very quick, very efficient. It was like prosecution was like, bada bing, bada boom, tells the story. And they play his confession, which I remember seeing bits and pieces of. But the guy says in there that Tony says that basically him and his wife had decided, because she was so ill and the apocalypse was coming, that they were going to make a suicide pact, and they were done.
They wanted to enter the afterlife.
They wanted to enter the afterlife and be together. So I can't help but laugh, because like I don't know how these cops kept a straight face while they did this, but they did an excellent job, in my opinion. And they get him to basically confess to everything he has done. And I won't go into the gorier details, but helicopters flying around, because it's just that time of Friday. That's just how it has to go around these parts. I swear,
dog.
every single time I'm live, the helicopter flies right over it. It's like their Friday route. Okay, can we request that they stop that?
Live in chaos. Yes.
So he says that they decided, they did research, and they decided that that they were going to do Benadryl, and that was the best way to go, or the ingredients from Benadryl, basically. And that his wife had made a pie and put all the ingredients in the pie, and then they know when I go live, I know they're like, all right, Theresa's outside. Let's go circle around, see what kind of crime she's talking about. They got a little microphone.
Yeah.
I'm literally, they circle around the house. I mean, they're in the neighborhood. The house would be really a tight circle, but it's like the Friday flyover. It's so annoying.
Okay.
There's nothing going on in the neighborhood. Of course there is.
Damn coyotes.
They live in a high crime neighborhood around which there's like a police helicopter. There's really no crime.
That should be outside my house.
I know, right? Like, don't go sit outside. Like, I'm like, this is actually a really good neighborhood, but you guys will never believe that.
You keep trying to get into her
like,
stories.
So you live in a very high crime area. And it's not, I don't know what's happening. So annoying. No, but they're circling again. Like, what was this? This was like 2 weeks ago. They did the same thing. If a criminal like pops the fence right now and gets in the back, they're like on top of my house. You can hear how close they're getting.
You're gonna see the screen shaking soon.
People are gonna tune in on Fridays just to see what kind of crime's going on in my neighborhood.
Put the scanner
for real. They just like don't want me to tell a story that isn't interrupted.
I know, you keep trying to tell your little story too. Not happening.
They're like, don't talk about Tony. We don't talk about Bruno. So sorry.
I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying.
It's so bad. Is it not? It's super loud, huh?
A little bit.
I have street cred. Yeah, not like 20 years. I haven't had any. I don't.
They know all about tea from that
whatsoever.
moment.
I go out on the street. People are like, "We have no flipping clue who you are. What do you want from us?"
She fought a coyote a few months ago. It's fine. It's fine.
I did. It's true. I was on the phone with Michelle, and there was a coyote. We had a standoff in the street. We did. We were literally. He was sitting at the end of the street, and I was talking to Michelle on the phone, and I'm like, "Dude, there's a coyote staring at me."
And then she went blank. She just went blank. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Well, I like start walking at the coyote. Like I'm gonna go teach this coyote a lesson.
You're gonna redirect him back.
I did. Well, it worked. I mean,
Whew.
ironically, but he did. He sat there for a long time and just stared at me.
It was at least 9 straight minutes, Theresa. Easy.
I think. Sounds like it's gone. Okay, so back to the case. Where was I? So.
The pie.
Where was I? Oh, so yeah. So he says in this confession that the wife makes a pie, but it doesn't work. And so then they have to come up with something else. And the gory details, basically, he kills his daughter, who was 4 years old at the time. Then he kills his 11-year-old. I think it was his 11-year-old next, and then his 13-year-old, or 10 and 13, something like that. Basically by overdosing them on Benadryl. But then he talks about like where to actually like insert the knife to make sure that they actually die. It was a very weird, very bizarre story that this man tells the officers. So the trial ends up happening, and then he decides, of course he does, because talk about narcissistic personality disorder. This guy decides to take the stand in his own defense. It was, if you haven't watched it, at least watch him.
Yes.
Because he is ridiculous. He's ridiculous.
Story changing. He does it. He refuses to concrete a timeline for them. He fills them up with so much so that it's flat out confusing. The judge says he says maybe minimal sentences this time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they ask a question and he wants to tell a whole story. His own attorney is like,
why did I do that?
Like I try to keep it shorter. Like I'm gonna try to ask you a simpler question. And hi, Ainsley. It was so frustrating, Missy, to watch him. It was so frustrating to like listen to his testimony and try to figure out why this man. But one thing that he does accept is that he is a chicken shit. He's a chicken shit because he was supposed to die with the family. He says that he went and bought BB guns because he doesn't believe in violence. Doesn't believe in violence, and they're religious people, and even though his wife was doing all this like holistic medicine and whatever else, so he went and bought these BB guns. Shoot himself with a BB gun.
Like, you're so stupid. You're the ones that are going to shoot yourself. And then he conveniently didn't. He fell asleep before taking the rest of his dose. That was convenient.
Oh, but then he started drinking Mountain Dew and stuff to stay awake because the Benadryl was making him so tired.
He was on an energy drink. I was like, wait, what? He just kept going like this.
Not make this shit up. Hi, Jess. He wanted to tell the story again at sentencing. It was the most bizarre thing. So anyway, if you do like trials and you don't really want to watch a really long one, this one lasts 4 days. So it's actually, very quick, very efficient. He's a whack job. He gets found guilty yesterday. Florida's like super like on it too, because the jury comes back with the guilty verdict, victim impact statements, boom, boom. And then the judge says, okay, do you have anything you want to say? And then he wants to tell this, 30-minute story of, how it's not his fault, basically. And he's just this good guy and how much he loves his wife. And
he's taking it for her. He's taking it for her.
Oh, yeah. I must have been taking the responsibility for her. I that's the only way that I can imagine that I would have said any of those things, because I didn't say any of that. Like, I don't even remember saying that. And I think it was Danielle put in the Facebook group, put the letters he wrote to his dad. Did you read those? I didn't get through all of them, but if you guys are in the Facebook group, make sure you go and read those because they're absolutely bizarre. And then another member of the Facebook group actually posted the article from back in the day when they talk about his dad.
His dad, yes.
Have you guys heard anything about this dude's dad and this dude's past, like his history? We're talking about Tony Tony Todt. Tony Todt. Anthony Tony Todt. T-O-T-D. Okay, I never say it correctly, and I'll say it 50 times, and I'll say it different every one of them. Count on it.
Jenn Lu.
Hi, Jenn Lu. I was gonna see if you were busy tonight. I figured you'd be live with the Johnny Depp Todt. So yeah, because Jen I was telling them that you were showing the trial and discussing it. So I'm so surprised that they came back with a verdict so quickly. I mean, not that the jury did, but just that the whole trial was so quick.
We started day one. It was like we blinked. It was over.
Yeah, it's a long ass letter, Amelia. Yep. Yeah. The Facebook group, the CriminaliTy Facebook group. Hi, Gwen. I'm going live tomorrow afternoon. Oh, okay. Would you want a link? You want to come up? Let me know if you do. I'll send you a link.
You should come out and hang with us.
Because we're talking about two of the cases you were actually just doing this week, so it'd be perfect if you want to.
I love when they go over it. I think the last one I did was what was the last one? Guttig case. I can never say his last name.
Yeah. Love me some Jenn Lu.
It took me longer to make the intro.
You know, I had a Facebook group. Okay, well, where's one of the wrenches? Can one of the wrenches drop it? They're perfect. There you go. Look at that.
Thank you.
That was done before I even asked, so I can act like it was magic, like I said, hey, you know.
Thanks, miss. This light is shining right onto chat. It's crazy. I love a good roast by them too. I could be a worker.
They started back on the Watts one.
Did they?
They started back on Watts last week. It is so perfect. You have to watch it. They're gonna do. Her and Dr. B are gonna do like all the interrogations and stuff. So they just did like Chris Watts's like Tuesday night one, but I love it.
Yeah, we love her. It's okay.
And Lou is all right. She's a mess though. She's perfect. She is one of my favorites. All right, so if she can come up, she can tell us what she thinks.
You got it, Stefan.
I love that she's a mess though. That's why we love her, actually.
Beautiful mess.
Beautiful mess. Yeah, so the sentencing happens like right away, and he's like, but before the sentencing, you know, Tony's up there and he's telling his story and just totally does not take any accountability whatsoever during any part of this entire process. And then he tries to say that the reason he would have admitted to doing anything was because he always took accountability for the things his wife did.
And she's sick and she just needs to go get help. I don't know what happened here with the kids, but she just needs to go get help.
I told her, you know, you have till the end of this month to get some serious help. But, you know, I'd do anything for my wife. Meanwhile, I actually believed the first confession way more than I believed any of the crap that he was spitting out.
Me too.
And maybe they were all just nuts, and then they decided to, you know, do whatever they wanted to do.
I feel like all the evidence points right to the first story versus what he's had too much time to come up with this. That's why he refuses to make that timeline. He can't. He knows the second he puts down a direct anything right there. She calls him out. I love her. I couldn't even get it out.
The prosecutor?
I couldn't get it out. She was amazing. She dug right back into him. Every time he tried to wing that little word salad with her, she was like, nope. I asked you this is a yes or no question. I will ask for details. She was on him. She was on him.
So he kept trying to like do like this whole storytelling thing. And then she was like, no, that's not what I asked you. He's like, I'm sorry, what? What was that? What was that you said? And then like she says something, he like turns to the jury and he's like,
he did. He performed for them, didn't he? He really did.
I was like, dude, the jury is not gonna like you rolling your eyes at the prosecution. It was so bad. He's like the epitome of does not have any idea what he looks like, does not understand social cues or like what's happening around him. He just has no idea what he's like. He thinks he's believable. He thinks that people like him and that he's going to win these people over to the point that it's so bad that everybody else is like cringing as they watch him.
Exactly.
I wonder if he was like that his whole life.
Probably.
Hi, Nancy. Happy Easter weekend. Happy Good Friday. Oh, yeah. He did so much for his family.
Right.
But there's weird things. There's very, very weird things that happened throughout this trial. he talks about that, like there was the second condo, you know, that he went there that night to build the bike for the little girl for Christmas, but he ended up falling asleep because he didn't build the bike. The bike was found in in evidence in a box.
He didn't charge the phone. Wasn't that why he he fell asleep in the van to begin with? Because he had to charge his phone. And then they come to find out he didn't even have the right charger. Like,
and he'd like gotten rid of all of his phones and like left one at Starbucks somewhere else after the murders. It was bizarre. Bizarro. I don't hate a lot of things by that guy. I did not like him before, but after him testifying, I was like, this dude, he does have traits of Asperger's. I would agree with you. There's definitely something very but I don't want to say off and then say Asperger's because that sounds wrong, but there was just something like going on with him that just did not make a lot of sense. And he thinks he's the smartest person in the room. Hi, Nicole. I waited for you to come in before I even showed Ursa. I don't even know where she is now. She left. Did she go inside?
He ran from the helicopters.
Probably.
Oh. Tammy said she missed you.
Tammy, I missed you. Here, hold on. Jenn Lu's gonna pop up. What's up, Jenn Lu? In the house. I'm like so honored. I'm like starstruck.
She does one of these.
Like, did I mute her? She's always still muted. Oh, I can't. She's muted herself.
I'm muted. Like, see, there you go.
There she goes.
I'm a mess all the day. So don't be starstruck. I can't even work StreamYard. I love you guys too. You know I do.
Happy right now.
Oh, yay.
Oh, Tammy, you're so kind. Thank you. So I'll get Ursa for you, Barb. Don't you worry. Whenever she's around next, I'll bring her up. All right, Jenn Lu, you watched this trial.
I did.
What do you think?
Well, first of all, I was very shocked when the state said, we're done.
Right.
I was like, wait, what? Okay. And then the defense spent more time telling them where to put the podium for the opening statement than he did actually making the opening statement.
Well, that's because I think he wanted to tell them about all the information that was inaccurate in the testimonies so far. It's basically he wanted to testify. And then the judge was like, no. And then he was like, well, shit, I don't have anything else. So
he just wanted to talk.
You guys,
well, yeah. Yeah. And then, okay, so they get the podium situation all cleared away. And then the next thing I know, they're bringing up Todt. And I was like, this fool's not going to testify. But then when I listened to the testimony, now, y'all, I'm always looking for a loophole, right? And I was wondering what he was going to try to do to get around the confession that had just been played. And what he did, I lost brain cells, like for reals.
Oh,
okay. Like even on Thursday, I was down to 3 functioning brain cells and they were arguing. It was bad. It took me, I'm still not right from that shit. All right. So then he gets up there and he wants to, this is my first chance to tell my story. And I'm like, your first chance, there's like 3 confessions. What are you talking about? Okay, let's start there. But then how are you going to get more emotional?
Not to mention all the stories that he's told his sister and his dad. And,
right.
And they're like 27-page long letters. I think you've had a chance there, buddy. Just haven't had a chance to convince anybody you're telling the truth.
Correct. I don't think not one showed up for him either, right? Not one came. The sister is done with him now, supposedly, right? I think.
No, nobody showed up for him. Then he has the unmitigated gall to cry more over the bug that bit his wife in Florida than he did about his children. I'm never shocked when people don't when somebody doesn't cry over their spouse. That never shocks me. It's when they don't cry over their children.
Yeah.
That's what got to me. And I'm thinking about this whole thing, and he's telling how he became how they came to Florida in the first place. And I'm like, look, it's literally in the Florida brochure. All right. Texas has some bugs, and Texas has some big old bugs. All right. But Florida's bugs they come out like the opening credits to Mortal Kombat. Like they want you to choose your character. They're not playing out here. All right. Like they're for serious bugs. They're not your friends. None of them.
Friends.
And those are the ones you can see. There's like 87 species of bugs that bite your ass that you can't even see. They just come out of nowhere and they just attack. All right. So then he's talking about that. And then his poor attorney's like, Mr. Todt, if we could just, keep it shorter, I'm going to try to ask my questions better. It's not you. Okay. You're asking the questions just fine. It's your client.
Exactly.
All right?
I don't think you could tell that attorney was just like, I don't even want to do this.
He didn't want to be there. He was like, why did I do this to myself? Like,
He was like, this ain't worth
You're not helping yourself.
$50 an hour I'm getting from the state. This is bullshit.
Exactly.
I'm retiring next week. I don't need this headache.
He was so done.
He was done.
Done.
And then, so he's into his testimony, and then it made no sense. Then the prosecutor gets up to question him, and she is not playing with his ass at all. And he would be trying to go on to some kind of long ass sermon, and she's like, I asked you a yes or a no question. I need a yes or a no answer. She was done.
His piece just was like, he's like, well, what was the question? What was the question?
And that was
I was
brilliant.
like,
That's what she needed out of
Yeah.
him. She needed to elicit the anger and the way that he is capable of switching it. And I kept wondering, when are they going to talk about this thing that his sister said to the 911 operator? Because she's the one that said, well, on the January 10th phone call to 911, she told the operator, listen, my siblings and I got together and we've all had this talk, and we realized that Megan said that the world was going to end on the 28th, and we've not heard from them. Right. And I keep thinking, when are they going to bring this up? When are they going to bring this up? Well, it wasn't until closing when the prosecutor tied that all together. It was him. He was texting from her phone. He was texting from his son's phone. He was texting from the lost hidden phones.
Right.
Yep.
And then I said,
they're all unalived at this point.
Correct. By a long time. So then
At least 4 or 5 days.
at
minimum.
least.
Right.
So then I was, when he's testifying, he says, I stuck my head out of a window. Bro, you're in a house. Okay. You're not in a car where some crazy event is happening and you need to roll down your window like the hand crank roll down window, not even the electric window roller downer. No, you're doing this full on with your own arm strength and holler out a window. Okay, that's ridiculous on its face. But then to say there was nobody around because it's a snowbird time. And I even said it before the prosecutor said it in closing. Hello. December, prime snowbird. That's when they come. They leave in March because that's when spring break starts.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So
he yelled out the window 202 or something like that, and he didn't want to leave his wife because he would die.
Right. If somebody yelled out 202, y'all are sitting outside. I know Theresa sits in her backyard because she does what I do. And I heard somebody holler out 202. I'm ducking because I'm thinking they're calling their gang. I don't know what the fuck 202 means.
We don't do that.
I would have just assumed that they were just yelling out 202.
Right. What is 202 even? Why don't you holler out anybody who was raised on like NWA knows, holler out 187. Then I'll know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'll get you help then.
Or how about
did you forget the rest of the number? Like,
what is 202? Tripped and fell.
Right.
187. You know my Gmail address is criminality187.
Is it? You're a thug. I knew it.
I was raised on the 187.
She's got street cred too.
That's my old street cred. Now it's just like, why is there a helicopter? I'm afraid. Is there somebody bad in my neighborhood?
You should see how much the helicopters are out in Florida. They don't ever. I mean, they're out for different reasons. That a lot of times it's the Coast Guard, but I'm always asking. I always yell, "It's the fuzz. The jig is up. Get in the house." Yeah, it's Florida.
You gotta start yelling 202.
I'm gonna start yelling 202. 202 in the his.
And see if anybody gives a shit.
I don't even know what the hell. I know what 211 is. That's
211?
like, yeah, 211 is like for emergency assistance. Yeah. Like if you've had like they put you through to like pantries, food pantries and Medicaid and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, but not 202. I don't even know what the hell 202 is.
Well, I know 411.
Well, isn't 202 is his address there? But
I thought it was. Is it 202?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 202 reserve.
Okay, I thought
you're right. No, you're right. It was two. What the? What is 202? So you're hollering out 202 from 202?
So people understand that there's a survivor in the house,
right? I don't get it. Okay, so then I was talking about this last night. The amount of time that he stayed in the home. See, now I think why he did that is because I think he wanted the autopsies to be difficult.
I agree.
I think timeline.
I think it was an absolute. I think it was two-pronged. One, I think it was because he didn't want the autopsies to be easy. That's number one. But number two, I think that it would play into his, he was hoping for an insanity defense, because who in their right mind would be in the home of anything that was no longer living for that amount of time, let alone your entire family. Right.
I think that was sense to actually leave and then come back if they're going to go with the fact that one, she did it, or two, an intruder did it.
How do you try 8 times unsuccessfully?
Well, he says it was actually more than that, because after he sat down with like the counselors and stuff, he realized.
Oh, that's right. Okay. It's a 3-day waiting period, not 30. And you were in there for 20. You couldn't wait 3 days.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe that like
he's not a violent man.
Well, it's only violence against
just
yourself.
Stabs his children posthumously.
Right. And that's the other thing. That's one thing that I couldn't figure out. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, perhaps because that's what he did to his wife, he felt the need to have some continuity, and he couldn't bring himself to do it to his daughter, but he was able to do it to his sons, because that was completely done post-mortem. And I think the only thing that I think he was going to blame Megan, and because the medical examiner did testify that she could not determine whether those were self-inflicted or somebody did it to her. For certain. For Megan, right. So I was thinking that maybe he did that to the boys after a post-mortem to make it appear as if Megan did it. Look, she stabbed herself and she stabbed the boys. Yeah. Like for continuity.
Yeah, where he was standing on the side of the bed, for him to be over her doing that motion where he's saying that she stabbed herself in the abdomen.
Correct.
Like 2 or 3
Correct.
times.
So then my question is so he actually denies stabbing the dog in the initial.
Yeah,
he said, so when he did his confession, he said that, and even when he testified, he said that the boys were alive when they were stabbed. And not only does he say that, but he said he saw blood, which is impossible because that was done after death. And as far as Megan, I think it was very difficult. I mean, she definitely had hemorrhage, so she was definitely alive when those stab wounds occurred. But I think he was going to try to. I think his plan was to always blame her.
I agree. I totally agree.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So why not But you think that because of the autopsies that he had to let them decompose so that they couldn't.
I think that's what he was going for. I think he thought they wouldn't be able to tell.
He would throw it off, like you said originally. He definitely wanted to throw this entire thing off.
Well, and also think about this. So when the person who was who not the person who collected the fingerprints, right? But the person who examined the things that were collected for fingerprints. When she testified, what she said was specifically on all of the Benadryl type medications, the boxes, the bottles, etc., they all had a fingerprint from him, right? They matched his fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the defense said, well, did you test for Megan's? And they said no, because she couldn't be, because she had been unalive for so long that they couldn't get fingerprints off of her. So I think that was another thing that he was doing, is because nobody at this point, even now, after everything that I've watched, it's still very much in the air how he got the Benadryl into everybody's systems. The kids I can understand, but her, I cannot.
He talks of that metal cup that she was drinking.
Yeah, but that would mean that she's drinking it, right? That maybe, see.
You think he could have maybe, well.
I think I think it's a distinct possibility. The fact that he is testifying that she ingested the Benadryl on her own, yet there are no fingerprints, there's no fingerprints that don't have a match. Every fingerprint that was on any of the Benadryl products only has his fingerprint on it. It's not like there's other fingerprints that they couldn't match it up because Megan couldn't have her fingerprints taken. It's only his, which means he gave everybody in that house the Benadryl. How he did it, though, I don't know. I don't think that it was willingly. I think he slipped it to them in some way, shape, or form. I don't know.
That's how I feel about the children. I actually
yes.
almost believe the initial confession that she was part of the planning of it and that he was just a chicken shit and couldn't do it. I don't know. There was not enough character information about her for me to make that determination whether she would have planned this along with him or not.
Well, you're correct about that. But then I go back to the 911 call. And I can't remember if it is the December 29th phone call or if it is the January 10th follow-up phone call. But the sister was asked if any of the family members had any medical conditions. And she said no. She said, I think Megan might have had something. But now the way that he describes it, that's not something
terminal illness.
Right. Like, that's not something that you could hide from your family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
like they would have.
Like she's like on her deathbed.
Correct.
Like, this is because she's going to die and they're all going to go with her, basically.
Correct. And this is the other part that doesn't make sense to me is the Google. Well, they didn't actually Google, but they use that other website to search stuff, right? Quora. Don't listen. They're not going to ask him to be a brand ambassador after this. I can tell you that, because the stomach, like all I kept thinking about.
Benadryl in the commissary?
I doubt if they do, he's not allowed to have it.
He's banned from the Benadryl.
But he did have. I mean, they wouldn't let that come out in court, which was the part that they had basically squashed. Was the fact that he was in the hospital after arrest for the Benadryl poisoning, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he says at one point, like he drank a bottle and chewed like 200 tablets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What I find interesting is that he talked about how much Tylenol PM he had. And the thing about that is what's actually worse for you in the Tylenol PM is the acetaminophen. It is in large doses, like the toxic levels. It's terrible on your liver, yet he doesn't have any issues. So that tells me he didn't take hardly any. And
Mhm.
listen, speaking of that, let me just touch on this really quick. The outfit, the jail outfit. I have never seen anybody completely fill out a jail jumper in my entire life. Homeboy looked like he was wearing a freaking onesie. I've never
He was just
seen-
hanging up
Weird
there.
onesie.
yeah, but everybody who's ever think about Chris Watts's jumper. It was hanging off of him. It
Yeah.
looked like a tent. Tote,
No, this guy, no, it looked like he was,
Fine.
it looked like he
Like-
was ready to go into like the ET tent.
long
Like he just
underwear.
needed his
Yeah.
mask on and he was
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I couldn't. I sat there so distracted that I missed parts of the interrogation because I couldn't believe how much, how
But
little
he was on a
room.
diet because remember his like fifth
Oh,
confession.
oh,
He said
yeah,
that
at
he didn't
jogging.
eat the pie. He didn't eat
Oh.
the pie, but you know, because he's having his like protein shakes and stuff.
Right,
Mhm.
So
right,
here's my other issue.
You need to buy.
This man contradicts himself so many times
correct.
because you have a plan that you're all gonna unalive yourselves because the apocalypse is coming and your wife is terminally ill and you have you know, you all want to go together.
Right,
But then you buy Christmas presents.
right.
So and then but you don't even allow them to have their Christmas present. So I know that this isn't a plan from October and you're going to do it before Christmas. Like that makes no sense right
No,
there.
no.
Yeah, he's a fat guy in a little
That's-
coat.
Yeah, he does. He did remind me of that a little bit. Fat
I
guy.
hate to laugh, but I throw that over there just because sometimes like the stories are so grotesque that you
Exactly.
can't.
We're
You have
not
to find something.
right.
Have to laugh a little
But,
bit.
We're laughing at the audacity of this fool, not at what he did.
Yes. So, but then he goes to say like, wait a minute, no, we weren't going to do that. We were going to, you know, we had bought all these Christmas presents and then, you know, but she wasn't well. And so she did all of this, but then turns around and literally says that he had never built the bike. It was
Right.
for Christmas. So which is it? You can't, you have 5 different, and you don't, I'm sorry, if I'm going to unalive myself, I am not going to deprive this fat body of all the joyous food that it loves so much.
That's
and go
not
on a
the
protein
time.
shake diet.
Right,
I'm
that's
going to
not
say
the-
fuck that. I'm about to
Exactly.
die in a couple weeks. Give me a goddamn cheeseburger.
Exactly.
I want.
Exactly. I'm going to eat everything that I like, all the things I broke up with for Lent. I'm going to drink those things, eat those things. I'm going to be sitting in my closet with Twinkies, ho-hos, ding dongs,
Anything. You eat the
everything.
whole fucking pie.
Right.
Get a Mountain Dew. Keep tempted.
And I'll drink a Pepsi. Hell yeah, I'll drink 27 Pepsis. Watch me. Oh, that treadmill that's over there. Fuck that
Yeah,
treadmill.
That
I
thing
ain't
can
trying
be
to.
unalived because I'm
Correct.
no longer going to need that.
I done put that shit on Craigslist. What are you talking about? See, and that's the other thing. This was another thing I was thinking about too. If she were that upset, right, that the world was ending and all of this stuff, right? It's still self-harm ideation, right? And typically when people have that and they've then made up their minds and they have a plan, there's an abrupt like 180 change in their behavior. They're very happy, they're very jovial, they start giving things away. There wasn't any right. There wasn't any of that stuff, right? There wasn't any. They didn't take their kids to do one last thing. The last fun thing their kids got to do was a recital.
Yeah, because we wanted to make sure they could go to the Christmas recital.
Banquet. That's because his chubby ass wanted to eat.
He was only eating protein shakes.
Oh, he jogged. You jogged where?
He didn't jog. He didn't jog. Maybe jog down the stairs.
He jogged from the van back to that house to get his ass back there. That's what he did do.
Exactly.
Jog nowhere.
It was a brisk walk, not even a jog. Stop playing
That
with
was
these
still just
people.
a regular walk. It was just brisk for him.
Right. His thighs were, I'll let you buy if you let me buy.
Yeah.
All I did was laugh. I couldn't even talk.
This guy, I could not imagine that this guy was ever going to be found not guilty to begin with. I love the fact that the prosecution totally threw them off, even though the judge did seem a little PO'd about it. But he was just that the prosecutor was like, all right, well, we're done. Like, I don't know what else to. They purposely let that witness come back the next morning, ask them like 3 questions, and they were like, all right, the state rests.
That's
What
it.
do you
We're
got?
done. And
What do you
but the thing that just like had me on my jaw on the floor. First of all, it's been a long time since I've watched a trial that takes place in Florida. So I didn't realize that the defense can reserve their right to make an opening statement until the state rests in chief. So I was very I was in the shower listening to the opening statements, and I think I was doing the shampoo this time. Last time I was shaving my leg, but this time I was shampooing.
Just one leg?
Well,
Multitasking.
I had already done the one. I was on the second one, and
That makes sense.
yeah. This time I was shampooing my hair, and I had. Then
The leg hair? Or that was
my head. Right. I'm lathering. I'm about to, and all of a sudden I hear, "Call your first witness." I said, something is not right. The YouTube is broke.
Something skipped. What happened? You did not record correctly.
The stream had ended and autoplay is on and YouTube. I'm so tired of your shit. So I'm rinsing out my hair, right? I fling open the shower and and it says Todt. I'm like, okay, well, let me finish up my shower and then I'll straighten all this shit out, right? So that's when I realized what happened. So I go on listening. Then I
listened to it twice, FYI, because I thought that there was something wrong with the one I was listening to. So I went and found it somewhere else and listened to it again.
Yeah, it was too much.
And I was like,
okay.
Yeah,
that's what they do. So then we were all taking bets after his testimony, because then that was they gave the jury instructions, right? Which I listened to that's what it was. The next day I was in the shower listening to the jury instructions.
That was armpit shaving day.
No, I shave every day, but different points in the testimony is different parts of the body. That's all I remember. All right. So yeah. So I'm listening to all the things, right? And I'm listening to the instructions, and I'm thinking to myself, when it gets to Megan and they start talking about the lesser charges like manslaughter and second degree, and I'm thinking, holy cannolis, they could potentially find this fool guilty of second degree or manslaughter. I don't know that the state presented it enough for first degree. And
really?
then,
Is that how you felt?
well, that's until I listened to, that was the jury instructions. And then because I've been looking for a loophole. I don't like to be surprised. I like to plan out while I'm showering, the if, then, but clauses. I do my best work in the shower. I'm not even going to lie. All my good ideas come there. So
not on your shower, on mine. That's where you do the best work, is when I'm in the shower. Wait, no,
correct.
No.
Yeah, because
I do the best work when I'm in the
right. We're showering, we're working, and everything is good. Boom. The thing is that's the only time people leave me the F alone.
Hi, Allie 79.
The only time my kids don't bother me is when I'm in the shower, even when they were little. If
mine still bother me in there, not the older ones now, but the little one, like all of a sudden there's a knock at the door, like the shower door.
My kids never bothered me in the shower. They would, if they didn't care if I was on the potty or anything. That's when I would get the cop knock. Mom, what are you doing? Mom, what are you? I'm in the bathroom. What do you think I'm doing? What are you writing, a book?
My little one doesn't have a lot of boundaries, and so there is not even a knock when you're going to the bathroom. She literally slams the door open, and then like there's 2 doors, and one of them's closer to like the toilet area, and so he just slams it right in.
Oh, so you get the full-on no-knock warrant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I guess
he just breaks that shit down.
Yeah, I got the cop knock. I got the cop knock, but not a couple of times the girls served me with a no-knock warrant. Alice, the cat, always is with the no-knock warrant.
Animals are definitely
she busts the right in. And then just stares at you. She just stares at me like, and judgy. She's just judgy. But anyway, okay. So then I'm listening to the closing arguments, and I heard her say the whole the snowbird thing, and I'm like, yes, you see how smart you are, Jen? Stop doubting yourself. You're smart sometimes.
You're smart sometimes. You've got this.
And then
this is why you're in the mirror getting ready now that you're out of the shower, and you're like, see, you know what you're doing.
This was lotion and potion time.
Lotion and potion time.
I was like, oh, you smell good and you smart.
And you smart.
And you're all clean and shaved. Girl,
Yeah,
you on it.
make another video. Let's see what Johnny Depp's doing today. And that's the other thing. I flipped over to the Johnny Depp and he had the tousled look because too much on the chat rooms about did he have a hair transplant? And
Johnny Depp?
Yes, that's what was in the chat room. This is what these people were. It was two themes. First, they were making fun of Amber Heard, saying that she looked like she just had partied the night before and threw her hair in a bun. Then they wondered if Johnny Depp had a hair transplant. And then it was nothing but, don't forget, Amber Heard pooped on the bed. Don't forget, Amber Heard pooped on the bed. And I had to turn the chat off because I kept seeing it and I was distracted. Yeah, but we're not talking about that, right? We're talking about Todt. Okay, so then...
let me show Barb the puppy real quick before we go back to the trial.
Oh, my God.
Here, over here. This is every time...
Look at your eye. Here, Ursa. I'm going to bite you instead.
What's wrong? Are you hurt? Come here. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Nothing. I just don't want to look at the camera. I'm not camera ready.
Here.
Your Aunt Barb says hello. Look at him.
Oh,
I love
She's
her
so
eyes.
big. She's gotten so big.
So big. She's filling out her snout too. Big time.
oh.
Cuddly.
What's her name?
Ursa.
Ursa. That's cute.
Like Ursa Major, Ursa Minor.
Yeah, like the constellation.
My husband's like Ursa Major pain in the ass.
We covered this, Theresa. I'm smart. Remember, we established this. I'm lotion, potioned, and
Dog,
smart.
Birds.
Okay, go play. All right, I didn't mean to distract you.
Listen, that whole bird thing now, I would never even thought of that. It was a very
Yeah, that's when the snowbirds are here. That's why they call them snowbirds in December.
Right.
Nobody was around. Like you were like, what are you?
Nobody was around like his neighborhood. I
Right,
still doesn't make any sense. I still don't believe this dude.
No, I don't. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this? The worst episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog ever? You live in nowhere. Nobody's around. You're hollering and nobody can stop it. I hollered out a window. Give me a break.
Right.
All right. So then what I wasn't prepared for, though, was that it was all going to be done and over with. I wasn't ready when when her aunt stepped up to the podium to give the victim impact statement. And you know what the part got me is when she was saying that other kids had been talking about it and they were worried and they were asking their parents if they were going to unalive them.
Oh, cool.
That's what messed me up. Nothing else got to me. And that when she said that, I was like, my eye got a little leaky. I don't know what was wrong with it.
No,
but it started to leak.
It's dripping from the shower. There's still water.
I was like, what's happening? I'm leaking here. But then this bozo thinks it's a good idea to give probably the worst speech
I know
of all time. I've just been convicted of first-degree murder, 4 counts of first-degree murder. Let me go ahead and bash the hell out of my wife that I love so much.
So contradictory to everything he says. I love my wife so much. She was a crazy girl. She just said, she needed help. But, I would have done anything for her. But, I think she killed the cats. You know what? Like it was.
I would have done anything but call 911.
Mm-hmm. And he went into like this big thing of how much he took care of her. It was almost like he was talking to her family in a sense when he was saying those things, like how he was listing all these things that he had to do for her every day. Like he got up at 4 a.m. to take care of her and things. You're just like, dude, what?
I don't believe for 1 second he got up at 4 o'clock for any. I mean, unless it was for a buffet, maybe he got up at 4 o'clock.
He was really home.
Yeah,
he wasn't getting up at 4 to take care of his wife.
No, he wasn't.
Nobody else has any indication that this woman was in this amount of immense pain. She was, basically up until not long before that, she was totally fine. She fired the nanny like 5 years earlier.
Right.
I don't even think Zoe had a nanny at any point.
Right, but she was in debility, and then
how'd she have a baby then?
But how is he going to throw a dig at his wife about yelling at their son about the dishes?
Yes. Oh.
I when that happened, and I thought to myself, I swear before everything that is holy, mark my words, if I'm no longer alive and my husband is giving a eulogy and he says some mess up shit like that about me, I will haunt you until the end of time, and I will be the most inconvenient, cruel ghost you have ever seen in your life. I will
Right.
fuck with you till
Exactly.
to
All
no
your
end.
bitches
I will
everywhere.
stomp the PlayStation. Thanks.
Every single petty thing that you think I was petty in life, wait till you see me in the afterlife.
I feel the same way.
Because I can walk through walls now. Ain't nothing stopping me.
I think it barely.
And I can hear every conversation you have.
Dude, I'm going to mess with you in ways you haven't even begun to it. Ways that haven't been invented yet. I'm going to invent them.
Maria, that's what I think. Yeah, his time is spent doing like fraudulent billing.
Exactly.
And they didn't even have to talk about motive really at all, because I think that they had enough proof that there was no other issues. But I think it came to the fact that this guy knew he was done,
Mhm.
and he was not going to let this family belong to anybody else. That's what I think.
You know, that makes makes more sense, because I could not understand how the Medicaid fraud came into it, because if the intent was to avoid prison, well, you failed at that too.
Mm-hmm. No, I think his intent was that he owned them.
Yeah.
But
I
the
just-
weird thing is I do not understand the whole staying in the house and all of that. I don't get that. And drinking the Benadryl yourself. I don't. I mean, we talked about this when I was on yours the other night, Jen. I think he wanted to sleep through it, which makes sense then when you say that you think like that he wanted to let the bodies decompose so that there was nothing left when he was found. But how does he sit? Where does he say he was at the whole time then?
In the house.
But he's going to have to say I was there with them.
But see here, this is like I talked about this last night. We're sitting here as rational people for the most part. I mean, I've had some irrational moments, but what we're trying to do is rationalize something that's irrational. And the truth is, we're never going to be able to quite understand it or figure it out, because we're never going to think that way. And so my best guess is that if I think that he realized he was never going to be, he was just too much of, he couldn't unalive himself, and that's just the truth. And I think that at that point, then it began, well, what can I do? And it was either going to, I think he intended to throw the autopsy off, number one, but I also think that it was just in case it was when he got caught, because he knew he was going to get caught, that this would be an excellent setup for an insanity defense, because who in their right mind would sit in a home that long with their, and also the way that he had moved them all into one room. See, think about that. He's moved them into a room where he can actually shut the door and not be around if he doesn't want to. You see what I'm saying? He isn't like, I cannot remember that guy I covered for the Christmas one that, annihilated his family one by one, everybody that was living in the house. And then when the kids that had moved out had come back to visit, remember, and he annihilated all the people that showed up one by one and had them all laid out in the living room on display. And then he sat in there and watched TV and drank beer. I cannot remember his name. This was back in the 80s that this happened. I did a whole thing on during Christmas. Now I can't. It's my own case I covered, and I don't even remember the guy's name.
What is this? Well, I'm going to your channel right now. Hold on.
It's one of the 12 horrors of Christmas.
Okay, hold on. Let me go.
But yeah, I think he was trying to go for the insanity defense, and I think that's some of the stuff that he was saying in the confession kind of led me to believe that I think that was his plan all along.
Yeah, I totally agree. You see it shift. He just doesn't give enough, and then after watching him on the trial, I believe it more than ever, for sure.
Yeah, and
you
the
don't
thing
have
is,
like the name of who it is.
No, I know. I don't. Hold on. I have notes. Hold on. I wrote it down.
The last one I did was the lady with the rake, the husband.
Todd Mullis.
There we go. Yep.
Oh yeah.
How would that go on?
Yeah. They're supposedly trying to get him to get that high-profile female appeals attorney. You know what I'm talking
Zellner.
about? Zellner, yeah.
She's busy. She's working on whatchamacallit. She's working with Johnny Depp's
Avery.
attorneys. She's also working with Johnny Depp.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna have to talk about that before you can leave tonight.
Oh, of course. Oh, no. I got lots to say about that.
Okay, good. Look, so does Michelle. She's all, me too.
I love Jen up here.
I can't. There was some shenanigans. Where did I put that?
Please, is here.
Melissa's innocent, in my opinion. I think that John List.
Yes. Thank you.
CPK came in. The
Thank
banker
you.
who lost his job and he killed his old religious mother too. John List.
No. He didn't kill his mom. This was somebody else. Hold on.
Hey y'all, that's fine. I'm alive.
You know what? We were actually
Nobody make a noise
for a very long time. Sorry, I was looking down. I didn't even look up at you. Hello, where have you been?
Hi. Hey y'all, I'm here. My son is sick and he woke up twice last night to watch Encanto, the whole thing twice. So I laid down at it was 3:45 and I said to Alexia, I said, hey, if I'm asleep and if I fall asleep in an hour, wake me up. And I woke up about 20 minutes ago and she was making some hot dogs and I'm like
He's making hot dogs.
Well, I'm just glad you're okay. I was like, I don't know, I'm like maybe she ended up at a kids meet, school meeting or something, and she forgot to tell us, or
yeah.
I'm glad you're alive.
Yeah, thanks. Here I am.
You feeling a little better?
He is, man, I don't know. You know what? Nowadays, kids get sick and it's you question yourself so much more than you would have before. He's fine. Mm-hmm. He has a head thing, but it's a runny nose thing.
A simple head cold can't even just be a simple head cold anymore.
No. Yeah, he'll make it. Hi, Jen.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Did you figure out who it is?
Hold on, I'm looking at Family Annihilators.
That's good. It sounds like it would be John List.
Who are you guys talking about right now? The guy on the boat?
No, see, this was a guy that killed his family right around Christmas, and he
presents were wrapped.
No. Oh, first one on the list, Chris Watts. Of course.
I wonder if there's colleges that have whole entire classes about Chris Watts and all the
it's the
psychology of everything in the case now. If it's the whole thing now.
Well, they have classes. I could sign up for a class that's on sociopaths and psychopaths, and it talks about people like Ted Bundy and so on and so forth. So I wonder if at some point they're going to have family annihilators, and if they did, I guarantee he'd be in there. Yeah,
is he in a mother freaking history book now?
Watch schmutz. Where is this guy?
Allie79 says Alice probably ate that part of your notes.
Richard Jeans, is it Ronald Gene Simmons? Yes, retired serviceman, including his wife, children, grandchildren. That's it. It was Ronald Gene Simmons. Yep.
Wow.
In his Arkansas home. Yeah. He started on December 22nd, 1987, when he murdered his wife and 6 children in their Arkansas home. And it continued on December 26, 1987, when he took the lives of 7 additional family members as they arrived at the house for a post-Christmas celebration. Then 2 days later, on December 28th, he murdered a young woman he had become obsessed with. And then he went on a rampage in Russellville, Arkansas, killing 1 man and wounding 7 others.
Wow, I don't even know anything about this dude.
Yeah. He had them all lined up in the living room, and he spent the weekend in between the week, and because it was he killed everybody on the 22nd, and then his extended family, the older kids that had moved out of the home and had brought their children, which would be his grandchildren, and their wives, over, or their husbands, as it were, He bumped them off one by one.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He just kept going. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
bad, dude.
and then when he was done with his rampage at the last place he was at, he
Okay,
sat
what was
there.
it? Richard
Ronald Gene Simmons.
Ronald Simmons, not Richard
Mhm.
Simmons.
Not Richard. Richard Simmons he works he sweats to the oldies.
Not
Oh my
anymore.
gosh! Thank
no.
you for saying.
Not
We
anymore.
all.
Not anymore.
I used to do the calisthenics with
recognize
my
him.
mom.
I totally recognize
Yeah.
his face.
Because you watched my video, I remember.
Allie, I'm with you, babe. Why?
Yeah, I totally recognize his face.
Yeah,
I don't
so
recognize that story for whatever reason.
it's because look, you have we only have so many tabs in our brains, and mine are full. I'm sure
I'm
yours are
maxed,
full.
man. I'm done. I'm gonna need a full-on erase and then
Like a hard reset.
like a hard reset. Yeah. Somebody put a hard reset in there.
I don't want a
Stevie,
hard
we're talking
reset.
about Anthony Todt, who was recently just on trial. We're just wrapping up on him and getting some final thoughts. Christine, now that you're here, do you have any final thoughts on Anthony Todt?
Yeah, number one, first of all, somebody else also blinked and missed the whole trial.
Right? Day one happened. We were right at day 4.
God, so, who said to us? I was like, "Hey, Todt verdict isn't." I literally maybe wrote another sentence wherever I was at and went over to YouTube, and it was already sentencing. And I'm like, "What? I missed the good part." Like that moment when they say guilty is like my favorite thing. Like, especially when they're just totally, completely guilty. But
titles. Judge
Yeah.
throws the book at 2. Great.
yeah,
I
and it
liked when he was
over.
shaking his head no, like he was just going to try to whittle down that roll on the back of his head, that fat roll. Like I was like, what are you even just shaking his head no? I'm like,
Well,
that fat
he
roll is
lost
not
a ton of
going.
weight.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was like, he rolled in there like the blueberry gum.
Oh, like Violet Beauregard?
Yes, he got rolled in there like an Oompa Loompa and came out looking like freaking, I mean, a totally different person. I was like, that's not fair.
And then had the nerve to, I forgot about that part. He had the nerve in the morning to have his lawyer complain because he hadn't been fed yet.
That's the Benadryl pie guy, right?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Somebody said, can you imagine him and Chris Watts having a conversation? That would be the worst conversation ever. Like the most boring bullshit conversation ever. Like, look, my 2 washcloths having this murderous conversation.
You're like 2 truths and a lie.
God.
3 lies and a truth.
You know who I
would
think
not be like
would be fun to see in a cell together? Chris Watts, Ezra McCandless, Chandler Halderson.
Oh, he wouldn't say anything, I don't think.
No, Chandler. Let me tell you what would happen. And Jodi Arias.
Yeah.
So,
oh God,
nobody would say anything because she'd be too busy talking.
Ezra and Jodi would be trying to one up each other. Chris Watts would be talking about the 50 uses for dryer sheets in prison, and Chandler would not be saying anything. But then somehow everybody but Chandler would be unalived in the cell. And when they came to get him, he'd be like, I don't know. This was like it when I got here.
Everybody
was wearing Chris Watts's boxers, though, is the question.
But check out this horrible cut on my toe here. You think you're gonna have to amputate? Is it gonna be infected? I'm really concerned about that. Can I get some Neosporin?
Oh my God, you guys, his friend is like the Chandler's, like the one that used to be his best friend, is like the most Dwight Schrutingest gangster dude I've ever seen on his stand. And when that attorney asked him, how many guns do you have? And he goes, quietly, that's none of your business.
That was the best part of the trial. That was,
like
that
Mike
was
drop.
Yeah, that was one of the best parts, except for when the defense attorney said, bullshit. Bullshit. You're gonna you care if he's a liar. Bullshit.
That one
and
time
then
she got outraged.
I'm gonna have to object. Like you could hear her about to take them hoops off. Just like she turned to the other attorney, hold my hoops.
Yeah. You heard her surprise belch come out, and you're like, "Oh shit, this is it."
Oh, yeah. Oh, my cup made a weird noise. No, that was your mouth. You burped.
No, that was you that made that noise. But nice try.
Still
Right.
doing it.
Stop blaming the Starbucks cup, lady.
Oh god.
Okay, so speaking of funny trials, can we talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard?
Yes, we can.
So okay, so let's figure out in chat who's all watching.
On this one.
What was this?
I'm a blank canvas here. I haven't
Oh.
started watching the defamation.
Okay, we can
thing.
totally make you biased in a heartbeat then.
Oh, yeah.
So who in chat is watching or paying attention to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial? And that kind of knows the back history. Like, if you guys need us to tell you a little bit, do you know what's going on, Christine? Do you know why they're in court?
Yes. So she tried to criminally get him in trouble, right?
No.
She said he hit
No.
her.
Okay,
No,
so
she never actually pressed charges on him.
No.
Okay.
no, she just tried to defame him and slander him across.
Right. And then
Washington Post.
get a settlement in the divorce and say she was going to use it for charity and then just be like, oh, psych, I'm not going to pay the charity.
Did she?
That's another part because this
Yeah.
woman. Okay, before I get biased in the whole thing, let me just tell you the facts of the situation. So they were only actually married, living together for a year, and then it took them a year basically to go through the divorce. And she wrote an op-ed article basically saying that she was a domestic abuse survivor. She does not name him, but everything that she implies is about him. So was it in London, Jen?
What in London, babe?
The op-ed.
No, it was in the Washington Post.
Okay, so there's the lawsuit that goes on in London has to do with another.
Oh, the Sun. It was the
Sun.
So what happened is, the Sun started calling Johnny Depp a wife beater straight out, on the title,
right
on the headline or whatever you call that.
Okay, so basically, this whole thing comes around where now everybody thinks that he was, an abusive husband and so on and so forth. I think there's some situations that actually happened with Pirates of the Caribbean at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Did he get fired or did they just not actually sign him on to the next one?
There's been a couple of different stories, but the prevailing story is that he was fired first before the Pirates of the Caribbean. He was scheduled to do the next, the one that's just come out, the Fantastic Beasts series, and Dumbledore's Secrets, I think is what it's called. And he was going to reprise his role as Grindelwald, and they fired him from that. And as far as Pirates of the Caribbean, there's no question that Johnny Depp was fired, but her contention is that it had nothing to do with her allegations against him. It had to do with his substance abuse, and he was showing up late and on the set, and he was just out of control, and so they let him go. That's what she says. But then there was the restraining order, so she was able to get a restraining order in between all of this. And of course, that's when it all got really crazy.
But the restraining order is after the settlement, correct?
Yeah, because the restraint. Yeah, I feel like.
So right now he is suing her.
Yeah, for $50 million.
So basically, he goes and he sues the Sun, and they say no, it's not going to work.
Correct.
It ain't going to happen. So he loses against them. So he takes it straight to Virginia and says, "Okay, perfect. We're going to go and we're going to sue her for $50 million on this defamation because basically her accusing him of being a wife beater when he's claiming she's the abusive one and has recorded conversations between the two of them." The witnesses, well, so far, basically his witnesses have said that they've never witnessed him be violent. They have witnessed her be violent. And I want to say, so they're streaming both the Todt trial and Johnny Depp's trial on Law and Crime.
Yes.
At the same time, simultaneously. One has between 25 and 40,000 viewers. The other one has between 1 and 2,000 viewers. And I'm sure you can guess which is which. So it's really ironic that a whole family gets murdered, and yet Johnny Depp and Amber Heard still have, 30,000 people that want to watch them fight. So he's now suing her for defamation, basically.
And she's countersuing.
And how much is she countersuing?
$100 million.
Who the hell is she?
So she was an actress and
I mean, Michelle, don't make that
model.
mistake. She needs to stay in her lane, okay? He
Right.
picked her up.
Oh, I was
out
like,
of
okay, like
nowhere.
legit. Who is Amber Heard? I'm like, she's an actress, a model.
That's crazy.
But there's history that so far I haven't really heard come up in trial, but you've been watching it every day, Jen. So you tell me, has anybody talked about the fact that she was married prior and that person actually claimed that Amber was abusive, physically abusive?
That has not come out yet. So see, this is the problem with this particular case. Okay, there's a big. First of all, the first monkey wrench was when her attorneys mentioned and brought up, which they should have, the fact that the Washington Post is not listed as a party to the lawsuit. They're the ones that actually printed the op-ed, right? But the thing is Johnny but their argument is that it's not defamation, one, because it's true, and two, because it's protected under the First Amendment. And I think the reason that Johnny Depp didn't sue the Washington Post is because the media has far, as he saw in the UK with the Sun, they have far more protection about what they can print than your average citizen, which Amber Heard is an average citizen. And I don't think this is about money for Johnny Depp. I think this is about he wants his name cleared in the public for once and for all.
Absolutely. He doesn't need the money.
He knows exactly what's... I think she got tired of you, Theresa. Don't tell her I said that, though.
Don't tell her you said that?
Yeah, don't tell her I said that.
What about me? I'm the one who's tired of.
She probably just accidentally, she probably pushed back, which happens to me all the time.
So come back.
I think that for him, it's because he knows everything that's going to come out. She is going to pull out every line of cocaine that he ever did, every ecstasy pill he ever swallowed, every Norco he took, every Ambien, every Xanax, every whiskey shot he took. Meanwhile, like it's baloney because. So Thursday there was this big, huge kerfuffle. Okay, they bring in this woman, and now I keep wanting to call her Deetra, but her last name is Duders, Gina Duders. I remember it because I sent Ali79 the meme that says, "Damn, Gina." Okay, so Johnny calls her. Her husband worked for Johnny Depp in some capacity, and I don't even remember what it is now because I was too distracted. But she's super cute. She had the cutest messy bun I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, so she gets up there. She's very, very nervous. She's testifying, right? They're talking about how often do you think you saw Johnny? Do you think you've seen Johnny Depp do cocaine? And she says, "Oh, gosh, already bad." And then she's looking up at the ceiling. I don't know. She's like, it was more of a celebratory thing. It wasn't an all the time kind of thing, right? So she's getting into, but the meat and potatoes, the whole reason she's there to testify is because she was in Australia with them during the Pirates of the Caribbean. And that plane trip is the plane trip that Amber is alleging that he did cocaine, drank a half a bottle of whiskey, took various pills, and then topped it off with 2 bottles of champagne. Like, calm down, Amber. That's like a Thursday in Florida. Okay, stop it. All right. That's nothing. You should have known Johnny Depp in like his Viper Room days. That ain't shit.
Right. I'm like, this really should not have been like a surprise.
Right. This was like tea time. What are you talking about? Okay. So she was there, and right as she's about to get into that testimony, but before she does, she lets it out that at the wedding which she attended, it was Amber who was passing out the MDMA, which is ecstasy, to the party guests.
Yep.
Fuck the bouquet, throw the ecstasy.
Right. Oh.
So
Okay.
Mhm. So she's starting to get into Australia, and you can see the camera pan over to Amber Heard, and she is writing on a little post-it note, which she hands to her attorney, who then turns it around and hands it to the attorneys behind them, right? And then all of a sudden one of them's scrolling their phone, and then all of a sudden they stand up, and they have to meet at the bench. Okay, so we're waiting. There's all the static because it's so rude. So then the judge says, Miss Duders, have you watched any of the trials? And she says, well, I've seen some clips. And she said, have you watched any witness testimony? And she said, yeah, and some clips. And she dismissed her. So
Right. See, I thought I was confused by that because it was almost like she was asking her about the clips, but then she doesn't even like really answer, and then she's dismissed.
right.
It was like there was confusion about the clips and whether that was why she was actually dismissed or not.
It is why she was dismissed, because Allie 79 pointed out a part that I missed, which was when the attorney that walked up from Amber's side, there were several of them, but one of them was holding his phone, and he showed it to the judge. This is what I suspect happened. I suspect that Miss Duders was scrolling either Twitter or Facebook, probably Twitter, and inadvertently left a heart react or a like, some indication that she had seen it, and it was probably on an accident. But what they were hoping for, I believe.
Did she just like stop talking? Jen, did the ecstasy get you?
Jen.
What the heck? Where'd she go? Did she get tired of me too?
Everybody's leaving us tonight.
Hi, Amanda Zavita.
Amanda.
See, Missy, that's what I thought. I thought the judge said something like it wasn't about the clips, but then I don't know. Where'd she go? I don't know. It's like a game of hide and seek.
I'm right here.
How much did you talk while you were?
I didn't talk at all. So, because I was listening to you. So that the whole reason for her to be there was to dispel this situation that Amber Heard says took place on the airplane, that he was blackout drunk and he was in a violent rage and he kicked her in her back.
Okay.
Yeah. So now that's out. So then of course, today was Good Friday, so no court, right? But they've released the witness list for next week.
Right.
And among potential witnesses are
Elon
Musk and James Franco. Elon is going to be a mess, but James Franco is going to be even messier.
I can't wait for James Franco.
I love him.
It looks like Johnny Depp's going to testify himself.
Yes, he is. And I think Amber Heard is going to testify as well.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. She has to. The jury needs to hear from her. Here's the thing. They need to hear her version of the story. And the poop is going to get brought up.
She pooped in his bed.
Yes, and it's going to get brought up. And I keep wanting to like highlight comments, and then I remember it's not Joe Stream.
Oh,
bitch.
yeah. Which one you want?
None.
I'm over here like leaning back in my chair.
None. I was just trying to yeah.
He kicked her in the back and it caused her to get black eyes.
The black eyes are from a different time, Allie. So, okay. The black eye, the photo, okay, that is in question happened the week of May 21st, and that happened in the United States. That is what the neighbor Isaac was testifying to, because he saw the picture. That's when they split up for real. That's when she changed the locks on the penthouses and all this, that, and the third. And
but his buddy's testifying that she did not have black eyes.
Not only is his buddies testifying that she didn't have black eyes, but cops saw her and they testified too. they have already been deposed, and they said that they didn't see anything. There was not a mark on her. And that's where this, I keep wanting to call it Amway, and I know that's wrong, but it's like arnica cream or something, whatever it is. I don't frequently get bruises. So, or if I do, I don't go out and buy cream to fix them. I just wait for them to heal on their own. Like your body's intended to do. Yeah, that's when that whole conversation came up about, well, she, do you know what arnica cream can do? And he's like, I don't even know what arnica cream is. So obviously, no, I don't know what it can do. I love Isaac.
I do too.
I want to be his friend, I would pop bottles with him for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. No wonder they've been friends for like 42 years.
He seems fun. And so does Johnny Depp, frankly.
And so they were talking about that Johnny Depp looked like he put a little weight on. And I said, that's okay. We could take care of that for him.
That's correct. This is the thing. This is what irritated me. So the sister's testifying, right? And her testimony was kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But then she's asked about if he was, anything that she'd ever seen that Amber had done that was just mean or whatever. And then she lets it out. Yeah, she called him a fat old man. And I was like, Amber, you call him a fat old man? Johnny can still get it.
These have actually only been together for a couple of years.
You married him.
That's my point. It's not like they were like together when he was like 18 and and now he's like aged and like now you're like some fat old man. It's like, no, dummy, you literally married him looking just like that, just with some shorter hair.
Exactly. And I like that he brought back the What's Eating Gilbert grape hair. That's the hair that he had in What's Eating Gilbert. I know Johnny Depp is my husband and he just doesn't know it yet. I keep hoping.
He's cheating on you. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
Well, that's why he's not with Amber Heard anymore. He knows.
He knows.
He's waiting. Look, I have this whole thing. He's going to watch my show and fall madly in love, and I'm going to get Johnny Depp, and I'm going to make sure get Allie introduced to Vinnie Politan. I can be Mrs. Depp and she can be Mrs. Politan. All thanks to true crime. That's my dream.
That's your dream.
Okay. So what did you think about Isaac, like literally remembering like the outfits this woman wore in 2016?
I thought it was priceless. And I'll tell you what I thought.
I did too. I was like, I love this guy.
This is the part that I like the best, though. The stupidity of her attorneys to ask him if he was angry at Amber Heard. That was so far the biggest mistake. I think that was worse for Amber Heard than Gina messing up and watching testimony and being dismissed. I think that is worse.
Is Gina's testimony stricken though?
It is completely stricken.
So her saying that she was the one handing out the ecstasy at the wedding really is nothing to a jury now.
No, they can't consider it. Mm-mm. But, and this is the other thing she pointed out too. She said that the majority of people that were at the wedding were Amber's guests. There was hardly anybody there from Johnny Depp's side. It was an Amber affair is what she said. Mm-hmm. But what I liked about him is that when he said what he said about how basically he thought the whole thing was bullshit and it should have been done and over with a long time ago, and that she lied and that she fabricated and that she's manipulated. When he gave that speech, I clapped and I felt it in my gut. That guy was speaking from his soul. He meant every word he said. It was completely genuine. And the other thing is that they're trying to Amber's side is really trying to say, well, these people that are testifying are in some way benefit from knowing Johnny Depp financially. Okay. Because they brought up how much money has Johnny Depp given you to Isaac. And the thing that struck me that rules it out for him is the fact that after the pictures came out and it was announced that they were splitting and Isaac found out about it, he bumped into Amber shortly right after that in the hallway. and he said he didn't want to have anything to do with her and he didn't want to talk to her. Now, if he were the type of friend that was there because there was not a genuine friendship between them, he was on the payroll or whatever, he was, getting something out of Johnny Depp, he would have talked to Amber and he would have heard everything that she said, listened to everything that she said, and ran back to Johnny Depp and told him everything.
Right.
That's what a sycophant does. A friend, your bro, will tell you. It's just like us girls. I would never entertain one of my girlfriend's husbands if they were splitting up. I'd be like, don't talk to me, criminal.
Yep.
I would not entertain him. And I think I think that's important. And I hope that when they do closing arguments, I hope that they bring attention to that because it's important.
I agree. I'm glad you brought that up too. I didn't even, yep.
I think that's a good point.
I be analyzing these fools, y'all. Y'all think I'm just
know you
jokes
do.
and shit.
But
I be
Oh, no, I don't. I know you.
Love it.
I know you. Yeah, no, that's a really good point because he did. He was just like, I don't want anything to do with, like, leave me alone. I don't want any part of this nonsense.
Exactly. Don't listen, Amber. And his whole attitude about the whole thing was really, which is my attitude about drama. My name is Paul, and that's between y'all.
Yeah, well, the thing is though, he starts off by saying, like, I was friends with them. Like, I was there through the whole thing. Like there wasn't like he wasn't actually picking a side. Like he was basically saying, like, if Johnny was wrong, like, I'd flip and tell him.
Exactly. They were genuine friends. They were not. He was not a hanger on. Now, do I think that at one point, I know during the Viper Room days that Johnny Depp was surrounded by people who were hangers on, and he was surrounded by a lot of yes people. He was young though. You know what I mean? And the other thing is,
I'm sorry, you don't get to be a hanger-on for 42 years.
No,
and
you don't.
See, like, when he was talking, when he would say something on the stand, you could see, like, Johnny's face, like, the reaction, like, when he said something funny and Johnny's laughing, and then like, when he gets, like, super emotional about, like, how much that Johnny's done for him, like, you could see Johnny's face. I mean, that's a genuine friendship. That's not it may have started off, however, 42 years ago. Shit, I don't know. I don't even know how you and I started being friends at this point. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
people look, this is what happens whenever people meet, right? And when you really, like, click with people or click with a person, it's like you've always known them and you don't even remember how you met them. It's like they've always been in your life. And that's genuine friends, And I feel like to say that it was irritating to me because I don't know Johnny Depp, obviously. Like, we don't kick it. He doesn't tweet me. He doesn't Instagram me or anything like that. But Johnny Depp, for reals, call me. But what they're trying to say is that he has no redeeming quality at all in and of himself, right? That he isn't worthy and can't have people who just genuinely like him because he's a fun guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what I find to be despicable. And also, I'd like to just add, Amber Heard, if you're listening, don't call me. You ruined The Stand and you ruined Aquaman. The end.
She did ruin. She really should have been fired from Aquaman.
She ruined. And you know what? Now I know what I was thinking about the other day, and it just came to me again. Okay. There was a part written specifically and specially. It's not in the book. Okay. It was just for Marilyn Manson. He was intended to be in The Stand. And now I'm kind of wondering if the reason he ended up not being in The Stand is because of Amber Heard. And please, Amber, don't let me find out that is the reason, because I don't give a rat's fat kneecap how many videos are made about you doxing people. Come and dox me. It'll be the last person you dox, I promise.
Okay.
Well, so when she takes the stand, she's going to have to perjure herself otherwise it doesn't make sense that she takes the stand.
Mm-hmm.
Or she's just going to go up there and admit, like, yeah, it was volatile and it was both ways. She can't even say it was both ways. You know what I mean?
Well, she could, because here's the thing. It's a defamation lawsuit, right? So what's the basis of a defamation? What's the first hurdle he has to overcome? It has to be a lie, right?
Right.
So even if it was mutual, her saying that it was mutual is not a lie. Does not a defamation lawsuit make, because while it's not, he did hit her. If it's mutual, then they were both hitting each other. Do you see what I'm saying? That loophole.
Yeah.
It's a semantics argument. It's a shitty argument, but it's one that they'll make.
Exactly. It's a loophole.
That's all good lawyering is being able to argue semantics. And the truth of the matter is let's say she gets up there and she says, yeah, I hit him back. I didn't start it.
But then they play the recordings and it talks about that she says, that she hit him and then tries to say he hit her back.
I just don't see honestly maybe they will wait until the very last minute. They're going to put everybody else on and see how they feel about their case at that point. But I don't see a way for Amber Heard. If Johnny Depp takes the stand, there's no way that she won't take the stand. She has. This is not people like you and me, Theresa. We're not in court, right? We're average people. These are people who the relationship was so volatile that whenever they traveled, they would book an extra escape room for Johnny Depp. Okay. How many people in abusive marriages do you know have that clause? You know what I'm saying? There's no out for them. And the people that are hearing the case are really not a jury of their peers. I mean, they're peers in that they're human, but they have no way to be able to relate to them. Not him, and for sure not Johnny Depp. They're talking about flying to his fucking island, for Pete's sake, which again, Johnny, call me. I'll go to your island. I don't care. Do all the X you want. I ain't finna tell nobody nothing. I just want to go to the island.
Yeah, throw it all over. Do what you got to do.
Look, Jen, don't judge. Okay, but they have to see her as a human being. They have to have an attempt to humanize her. And also Amber Heard, this is from this is not even my original joke, but it is I'm going to twist it. So Vincent's missing ear called her outfit the other day Scientology Sea Org member outfit. Yes. And it absolutely is. And I want to tell you, Miss Heard, you're not going to get to, I know that you think you're in the South and then Virginia, you need to be conservative, and to an extent that's true. Okay. But looking like you're dressing for a funeral every day, you're not Johnny Cash, and you're too pinched, and you look too,
she looks rigid
and unapproachable.
Oh, and yeah, she looks like a bitch.
You're going to have to get to this jury. You're going to have to humanize yourself, because it's freaking Johnny Depp. It's
People
going to be
like him.
Exactly. It's going to be very difficult for you to overcome his charisma, because he is a genuinely nice person. And if he were any of the things that these people claim that he is, we would have heard about it before her.
Which is my issue, and why I brought up the fact with the ex, because we have heard about it about her. We've not heard that about his prior relationships. So then is her ex going to testify?
They haven't announced any of that yet, but I did you guys, I want to, whenever I go back live on my channel, I think I'm going to do it tomorrow afternoon. I want to cover the therapist, and I also want to cover the Dr. Kimber, because who helped Johnny Depp get over his opiate. This is what I have to make a little bit of a joke though. Okay. So he was Johnny Depp's addiction treatment doctor. Okay.
Right.
So he's testifying and they're asking him, what did Johnny Depp seek treatment for? And he says opioids. And he says, all right, so basically what was the course of treatment? And they're reading it off. And he's like, well, we decided to keep him on Norco and Xanax and something else. And I'm thinking to myself, he went in, but we're going to take him off the roxycodone, which, okay, roxycodone is is a stronger opiate than Norco. Norco's just hydrocodone.
Right.
But I'm thinking to myself, what kind of treatment plan is this? How are you detoxing, but you're still on an opiate?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because you're on lesser of an opiate.
Right. That's like, I'm not going to drink vodka.
It's
I'm
the same
go-
as like heroin and methadone. It's the same concept.
no method. Okay, no hair. Well, methadone is an opiate substitute. So the correct analogy would be OxyContin and Suboxone or Subutex.
What's Suboxone?
Suboxone and Subutex are synthetic opioids, and so they're to help you titrate down and not suffer through the withdrawals of opiates. It's like
Ainsley. Here we go again on the oxy.
yeah, it's always about oxy. Look, I mean, Johnny, for somebody that had such a rough lifestyle, as Amber Heard is saying, how come she's looking a little rougher than he is?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like 30 years older than her. And she like 30. Let me Google, because I remember a 30th birthday, but I don't know how old she is currently. Let me look her up.
I don't either.
How old is Amber Heard? 35 years old. Talking
Well,
about
she hasn't. Yeah, she's done her own. She's done her own damage. That's what I'm saying. I don't see how she's going to get up there and be a victim. I don't
either.
She has the demeanor of a perpetrator. I'm sorry, she does. Like if you like compare this case to like a murder trial, like she looks the epitome of somebody who's a guilty perpetrator.
Well, this is what I find interesting is that her defense contends that, she wanted to get Johnny off of the drugs and get him sober and get him clean, right? But it's sort of like the Chris Rock joke. You can't have a dog person and a cat person in the same house. You can't have a crackhead and a non-crackhead in the same house. Okay? And the thing is that it's not like they got together when Johnny Depp was young and over time, then he developed substance abuse and now she's had enough, right? She met Johnny the way Johnny is, period. Okay. And plus she she can't be too much on the sobriety wagon if she's handing out MDMA, like party favors at her freaking wedding. Exactly. Well, here's the thing about that.
I was going to ask you something before we move on. Did Gina get kicked out of the courtroom?
No, that was Eve. Hold on, let me look her up again.
Okay, and I missed that. So why did that person get kicked out of the courtroom?
We don't quite know just yet. We only know that she was. We only know that she was.
Okay.
I don't know why. We only know that she was. But yeah. Now I forgot what I was talking about before that.
Yeah,
no, you're fine. No. Theresa, are you new? I forget what I'm saying even when I'm not interrupted. Are you kidding me?
I know, but I know that, and I shouldn't have interrupted knowing that.
I like it. What am I looking for? Oh, hold on. Because they just talked about this. Let me look at this here.
It's also going to be tough for a jury when you have somebody like a Johnny Depp that testifies. The man is an incredible actor. And
yes.
they're going to use that against him.
Eve Barlow, that's who it is. That's who was kicked out. Eve Barlow. I don't know.
Behind the article released and doxing Johnny Depp fans.
Yep.
Is that why she got kicked out, though? I mean, why did she actually get kicked out of the courtroom?
Well, I would imagine because she's intended to be a witness. They might want to. Maybe she's under subpoena. I have no idea why they would kick her out.
They would have let her in the courtroom then.
Oh, Nonstop Mom said she was using her cell phone.
Oh, I see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so she got in trouble.
She's in trouble. Can you imagine being surrounded by bailiffs? Like I get nervous going to the court for anything, right? You don't know that. You never know when they're going to just be like, "You look suspicious," you know.
Please see your ID. I don't have it on me.
Who? Huh?
Yeah. You play deaf, and you hope they don't have somebody who has the sign language.
Sign language, because I can't understand what you're saying either.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh? Yeah. So yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, like, can you imagine how nerve-wracking that would be? I mean, look, they're all talking about drug use, right? And then all of a sudden, the attorneys for Amber Heard's side say, we need you everybody to move to the back of the courtroom, right? And they have all of her like pals sitting in the back row, and then all of a sudden you're surrounded by the cops. I would be nervous. It would make me nervous. I'm not even gonna lie. Look, I'm human. I know.
Yep.
They're crap. I would be like, man, I hope they
Johnny's
don't.
team motioned the judge to have her removed permanently.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. You're
But
like,
so-
bye, bitch. See
Yeah.
you on the other side.
The problem with this case is, I mean, it's, it's a problem for people like us who want to talk about it, right? It's not it's to protect the integrity of the case. But
Right.
a lot of most of the motions and stuff that have been filed in this case have been filed under seal. So it's like that's why there's 40,000 people watching, because there isn't, we're going to find out when we find out. There's no like reading ahead. There's no cheat. You know what I'm saying? You can't scoop.
They got us for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be watching. I just look. I don't think it's a good idea. Well, part of me does think she's got to be able to humanize herself, right? She's been sitting at that table, and I've been watching her, and Amber Heard has made some faces. She's rolled her eyes. She's, she scrunched her nose. She's got to get to the jury. And the only way she can get to the jury is really by testifying. Plus, low key, I want her to be asked why she pooped on the bed. Like, who does that?
I have questions, right? Amanda.
Where's Amanda Svita? She's got questions.
I have questions, and I'm gonna spoiler alert, bitch. I got follow-ups, because I can already tell you're not gonna answer the questions to my satisfaction. So I'm gonna need to follow up with your ass.
Well, she is not that good of an actress, so I'm not really sure how she's going to be able to pull this off. And she obviously has a lot of anger and animosity towards him that I cannot imagine that she's going to be able to get up there and refrain from letting any of that out.
Oh gosh, no. It's all it's going to take is the right question asked in the right tone. It's got to be asked in a way that frustrates her. And the minute and that's all that's going to take. If I were go ahead. Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay. Ainsley's off to bed. So she said, before I fall asleep, I'm begging you for a Delphi dive. We have a lot on Delphi. We have a lot of good stuff on Delphi. We can absolutely do that, Ainsley. And Christine's in the back somewhere, so I know she can hear me. I had to burn my laptop. I'm here on my phone. Pick me up. Oh, okay. I got to talk about Delphi. You're muted on your side though, Christine. FYI.
That's one case I am so like I watch you for it, because
Delphi?
I can't take another deep dive.
No,
I've got bad knees and a bad back. I cannot go down another rabbit hole, or I'm not coming out.
We have a lot on Delphi. We have a lot
of case 5 solves ago.
He solves this case every couple of months.
I can't do it. I just can't do
it. Delphi is one of those that it is hard, because you can see it being pointed in so many different directions that it leads you down a lot of rabbit holes. There's a ton of coverage on it already, and everybody's like, it's almost like if somebody tried to come in and like start Watts right now, and it was unsolved. You know what I mean? Like, imagine like the chaos, because everybody is so set in their ways that doing Delphi like on YouTube, like half the people will love you, the other half will hate you, and then you'll probably get some in the middle that are like, okay, yeah, like let's talk about it. But like rarely, because everybody's already formed their hardcore opinions, and you can't. It's like almost like one of those you can't even speculate anymore, because people are going to get mad at you. It's just ridiculous. Because I can guarantee you, we only have a very minimal fraction of the evidence that they actually have, and they won't tell you shit.
Yeah, because it's still open.
But that's the problem. So, like,
Delphi, because like everybody involved is, still innocent private citizens. Like everybody that you want to like say, oh, look at these suspicious things. It looks like a private citizen living their life. Like the names, like everybody's names, and just putting it out there like that with all the speculation. I just can't handle
Well,
that.
every 6 months there's another new like main social media suspect.
Yeah, that's true. I
And that
have
person's
noticed that.
dragged through the mud. Like it's ridiculous at this point because they're dragged to the point where everybody starts believing that they are the person. And then
Mhm.
6 months later, there's a new person. That's like, oh, that's the one. And it's like 6 months ago, you said it was this one. It's just very hard. But
I
so
think open cases are hard in general because it's an open case, and so you're not
Yeah.
going to get a lot of information. And when that leads to speculation, and then there's the rumors, and then look at the look at the Summer Wells. I mean, need I say more?
I have a hard time with the Summer Wells because I try to keep on like any factual stuff that's coming out, but I can't watch all. I don't have enough time in the day to pay attention to all of the chaos that Summer Wells has brought to YouTube. And I shouldn't say Summer Wells. I should say Summer Wells' family has brought
Exactly.
to YouTube. And it's a shame because if I go back to talking about Summer Wells, I feel like people aren't going to have like, and this is the really bad terminology, but they're not going to have the want for the information because it's almost boring because it's factual versus the dramatics that have come out. And it's like people would rather watch the dramatics and all the quote unquote what they call fun stuff. And it's like, this is a missing 5-year-old, now 6-year-old child.
Right.
And we would rather watch the chaos ensue. And it's too hard of a case to cover on social media.
I agree.
I agree. So
There's
I follow it because I care about the case, and I obviously spent a lot of time on that case.
Yeah,
but I
did.
I can't
You can't keep up with the other stuff too. You want to just stick to the case itself, the evidence, and there's just a lot. Her family, the friends, everything. There's just a lot to that case that's covering up what's most important. And
Summer has gotten lost in the case.
She absolutely has.
I think it's sad that I've watched a lot. I watched your stuff, Theresa, that you did. Of course I've seen the scandalous stuff here and there, but I hardly know anything about Summer Wells. I know all about Dawn and Candace.
Well, you would think that you would know a ton when her parents are all over social media. You'd think that you know everything that there is to know about Summer, but you don't.
Exactly.
But you know a shit ton about Candace. You know a shit ton about Dawn and Grandis and, aunts and uncles from afar. It's
everything
sad.
you don't want in a case is in that case. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's part of me that feels I bear a lot of guilt when it comes to that because I really, when I started to cover that case and do those interviews, I purposely asked the people directly for the information because there was so much speculation already happening on social media that I wanted them to be able to clear it up. And so people could focus on Summer. And I feel like I opened the door to the fact that they were willing to do these interviews and stuff. And then people went at them. I feel guilt for that. Obviously they would have probably done it anyway, but for the fact that I thought I was helping squash situations when instead I believe I encouraged it because they saw the amount of attention that they got.
Yeah.
And so then I have a hard time with that.
But I think your original was to keep Summer's name and cover that case and to, like you said,
it absolutely was
to speak and clear up things,
But I
took her back and that was important.
I absolutely agree. And I also think that your intention was to get factual information out there, and it's not what it turned into. Isn't you're not responsible for.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. That's not. I just feel like did I perpetrate that in some way by I don't know.
No, because I think that in a case like this is why I intentionally don't cover open cases because it is a very fine line. And I thought you did an excellent job, frankly. But when you covering a case and interjecting yourself in the case, and it's difficult because when you talk to victims, to family members of a victim of crime, your heart goes out to them if you're a compassionate person at all. Period. And I'm like the Sheldon of the YouTubes. No, people think I have no emotion because I can be so analytical.
Oh, I
But
don't agree with that at all.
the
I think
truth
you're
is,
full of emotion.
I feel all the emotions at once, which is why I don't ever say shit, because and it'll all just come out. But I think that it's hard when you hear their story, because you want so desperately to get the information out there, and
Yes.
then it's what happened after that is, then it get, I just, it's hard, and I think it's a learning experience, and I worry for this case in particular when it comes to time to prosecute, if it will even be prosecutable at that point. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, so I think it was Michelle I was talking to about this the other day. If you look at cases like we just covered Cassie Carley, we just covered Naomi Irion. The information was so fluent from law enforcement, even though it was an open investigation, it didn't leave a lot of room. It left a little bit, but not a lot of room for people to just make up whatever the hell scenario they wanted to go along with it. And it was their information. They still kept the stuff that they needed to close to the vest, but they put so much out there that when you talked about it, like if you listen to my channel versus another channel, it was strictly basically the facts of what the law enforcement had released.
Right.
And you have a case like Delphi where they think that they're protecting some investigation almost 5 years later, or it is 5 years later. Shoot, I don't know where we're at now. Over 5 years later, and you have a case like Summer where they don't share any information, and you see the disaster that it becomes. And I get that it's just social media, but the social media has turned into where these thousands of people want to turn in some social media tip because, Michelle shook her head yes during a live, and so she must have known something was happening, and so we've got to call law enforcement.
Right.
Like, how much time versus them if they just stepped forward and said, this is what we need, this is what we know, even if it's not all of it, but enough of it.
Right.
That they would stop creating the flipping chaos that's wasting their time where they don't like social media. It's the epitome of they don't use the tools that are at hand in this day and age, which is social media, to get with Gabby Petito. That how streamlined that was because of social media. The Brian part differently, but the Gabby Petito herself part.
Right. They would have never. Do you know how long it would have been for them to even locate her body if it had not been for social media? I mean, that place was huge.
They used it to the benefit of law enforcement versus fighting against it, which is what happens with Delphi. It's like, we're going to play a game with the media, and we're going to say this and half of that and half of this. And then, 6 years later, we're going to come out with another little tidbit. And it's like, these two girls are gone. Their families have no answers, and you play games because you don't want social media involved. Like, listen, it's 5.5 years later or over 5 years later. Social media is involved, whether you want them there or not. So figure it out.
Well, yeah, and the thing is that law enforcement aren't witness to the crime. It's average people, right? People like us,
right?
Okay, and the people like us are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It can be a good. They need. Yes, I agree. I think that law enforcement needs to take several steps back, and I think that they need to really figure out a way where they can use social media to help them, because it's a lot of times it's in cases like this. We've seen it so many times. Every time they show like one of those shows on ID where a case has gone unsolved and cold for 11 billion years, right? And then it's some random tip that just cracks the case wide open. And it comes from people that don't know they know.
Exactly. Right. It's always that one little lead that comes. Have you seen this person? Where were they? And we're here. We do have the time. We do want to help. We're here. Let us, I get hindering the investigation, and there's a lot of Fruit Loops out there that will do that. But there's also a lot of us that are here that want to help. And however that may be, let us help.
Right.
Well, I think like a lot of it, like also like with that is like, how they like say like your vibe attracts your tribe, and there's just like so much weight that needs to be put into that's not into responsibly following true crime, like as well as like responsibly reporting on it, and I just think that the audience that we want knows that like we care about the cases and stuff, and like they recognize that. I think it's just like up to like it's up to the creators to like lead responsibly, you know.
I agree. And I think we've all at some point or another touched on this on one stream, whether it's on our own panel or somebody else's panel. I covered the Jenny Jones talk show murder. And the reason I covered that case is because what really happened in that case was it was a guy, two men and a woman, and they went on the Jenny Jones show, and it was intended to be a revealing your secret admirer, right? And it turned out that it was the gay guy that had a crush on the straight man, and it was announced on national TV, right? Although it was never aired. But he ended up killing the gay guy. But the bottom line is, it was because his defense was that he felt humiliated. And it makes me think about what happens on YouTube, how people can be embarrassed, how people can be humiliated. And what we've heard a lot of stories about are horror stories on social media where people have committed self-harm due to embarrassment. What we haven't heard, and it's only a matter of time, is somebody getting incensed by something that they saw or happened to them on a YouTube channel and going out and harming somebody else, unaliving them. That is what
Totally
I
agree.
think. I feel that that's going to be the next thing that happens. Okay. And it's nice that we're over here in our little corner of the YouTubes, and we feel a certain way, and we will, report on stuff responsibly, and we've decided what we want for our channels and what we'll tolerate and what we won't tolerate. And I've thought about this. Is there more that we could be doing, right? No, there isn't. Because at the end of the day, YouTube or any other social media platform is full of human beings. And the truth of the matter is, the best way to have the world the way you want it is, rather than trying to change other people, be the change that you want them to be. You be the example. So if you say, I want to do true crime, and you are only going to have a true crime channel, then don't entertain drama ever. I never entertain drama on my channel. Could I? Sure. Of course I could. You guys don't think I could get up on and start a channel right now and read people for filth?
Oh, I could totally.
Good at it too.
I
Good
I
at
could totally do it.
totally agree. The second you do, though, you know that your vibe is changed.
Different.
You are going to attract a different viewer with
Exactly.
You attract a different
reporting on
viewer,
trauma.
but I feel like people on social media see like other people as so one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't understand that today I feel this way, tomorrow I feel that way, but then they get upset when other people don't see that about them. But it is one-dimensional, because that's literally what we're seeing of each other, is just this one dimension. And then if the people show too many dimensions on YouTube, they become the crazy, or they become the outcast, because they're too many dimensions. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I could sit here and pick on all three of you. You guys could all find stuff to talk shit about me. We could all do it. There's so many layers to each of us, and so many different things and facets. And 3 years ago, 4 years ago almost, with the Watts murders, I'm not the same person I was 4 years ago because of all the stuff that's happened here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not just one dimension. I'm not just one thing. I have so many different things and so many different feelings. I try to put that into perspective with other people, and I don't want to hurt other people. So I don't want to go and just bash them, because tomorrow, especially over a flipping case, like I disagree with people on the Watts case, and then all of a sudden now we agree on the Gabby Petito case, so we're best friends, and now on Delphi we disagree, so now we're total enemies. Like, how stupid is that?
Yeah, that is.
But even this is what I find sad about that. Even in the disagreements, if you're the right kind of person, you can learn something from the disagreement.
Exactly, Jen.
Everybody has
Learn from them.
we're all individuals, and we've all had things that have happened in our life that now have shaped our perception of things, right? And our perspective and how we view stuff. And the thing about that is that it can be a hindrance if it's not handled correctly. But I can look at somebody's testimony. All four of us could be here, and we could all four watch the same exact testimony, and we will all four come pick something out that's different. And and none of us will be wrong, and you can learn from that. We can all learn from each other. And listen, I'm not, trying to say it's all going to be sunshine, rainbows, lollipops. We should all get together for the slumber party, and braid each other's hair. Look, I like who I like. And the people, guess what? When I don't like somebody, they'll never know about it. Because guess what I don't do? Right. I don't hang around. Exactly. I'm out.
Right. You don't play with it, but there's no point. You
right.
know, you'd rather be happy. For me, I'd rather be happy than right. If I know I'm right, I know it. That's fine. But I'm open to new opinions, whatever, perspectives, whatever. You don't limit.
Well, that's the thing is, like, four people can sit here and can watch the same testimony and have four different points, like you said. But we could also learn from it, or we could turn around and just all fight about it, because that's what's the fun thing on social media is to do. And then we could all go live on our own channels about how this person said this, and this, about how I felt about this, and this, and how you discredited everything I felt about this, and this, and blah, 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 blah. And instead, that's the thing, is I want to be around people that are willing to listen to what I have to say, learn from it, and I can learn from. Like, you have an opinion that I can gain perspective. I don't have to agree with you.
I agree.
No. Like, nobody. Listen,
I'm here. That shows that.
Nobody has ever. I don't like eggs. All right, in any way, shape, or form. There is literally nothing you could say that is going to convince me that I'm going to like eggs. But guess
what about
what?
eggs and cake?
No, that's different. I'm not. That's inside of something. I don't want the egg alone. Right? No hard boiled, no scrambled. There's nothing.
What about
you can
Easter
do.
egg?
No, I don't eat eggs
peanut
in
butter
any.
Easter eggs.
No,
Yes.
I do. Well, yeah, peanut butter Easter eggs, but actual eggs, no. There's nothing anybody could say that could convince me that I'm going to like an egg. But I don't care if you like eggs. Okay.
No, we can't be friends.
I'm not going to get off the stream and go live and be like, Theresa likes eggs. Can you fucking believe it?
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Jen doesn't like eggs. Did you guys all hear that? Let's talk about it.
She's anti-chicken.
Chickens.
And
She
then here
doesn't like
comes the rooster fluffing everybody's feathers.
She doesn't like the cluck clucks. Get her.
Oh my God. Stop.
Get her.
The barnyard analogy could totally happen.
It's just, I can't. I'm never gonna change who I am to have 500 people in the chat.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree that I could care less about that.
500 or one person, even the person, that it doesn't matter. You need to be who you are, and it's okay to be who you are. And it's also okay to learn from other people, and it's okay to not agree with people, but there just needs to be respect. And if everyone could just respect each other.
Yeah, I'm not big on all the hate. And it seems like there's so much hate in our world.
It's so ugly.
Let's just in our social media world. I'm just like, God, I can't handle it. It's too stressful. It's giving me gray hair.
Exactly. And the thing is what I've noticed about the anger and the hate and all of it is that it's escalating and escalating and escalating. There was a time when the worst thing that you could do on YouTube is call somebody by their first government name, not their whole government name, not their first, middle, and last, but just call them by their first name, not their YouTube handle. And people be like, oh, because it's bad form. It's rude, right? That's the word. Then it started escalating to, I'm going to say your first and your last name. Then it was background checks. Then it's, it just keeps getting hard, escalating and escalating and escalating. And what's going to end up? Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Finish up because I have a different direction to take that in.
What's going to end up happening is YouTube, the thing that people liked about YouTube, and this is why they came from Facebook, is because YouTube allows the communities to police themselves. Okay. And that was the nice thing about it. All right. It's also kind of a negative thing. But what's happening now is that we're showing YouTube we can't have nice things. We're incapable of policing ourselves. So come in and crack down, because they will do it. And you know why they'll do it? They'll do it because they're going to want to protect their income, their money. They're going to protect themselves from a potential lawsuit. And when that happens, it's going to go just the way that Facebook has gone. It's going to be so censored, so restrictive, so monitored, that we're not going to be able, we're not going to be able to have these kind of conversations that we're having right now. And free thinking is what we need.
It'll be fake news.
Thank you.
Exactly. Who wants that? I don't.
What I was going to say is that, like, if, like, let's say that you're doing what you feel is correct as a responsible creator, and you're covering true crime, and this is the genre that you pick, this is your interest, and you do it for all the right reasons. You're covering cases, whether they get 17 views or whether they get hundreds of views or whatever they get, and you can stand by that work. And the families that you have, like, they trust you, like your integrity, whether you're big or small. And then the second you dip down and like the drama, really values all of it. Like you could have such a good reputation of having like covered cases and doing this the right way, and then you jump right into the drama, and now you're just a drama channel. There's no.
Once you entertain drama, it's virtually impossible to come back from it. You either can have a true crime channel or you can have a drama channel. You can't start out as true crime and then entertain drama and then go back to true crime. Just like you can't start out as a drama channel and then go to true crime. It doesn't work like that.
It's a disservice to the families and the victims that you
correct
are trying
to
put out there and get help for.
I absolutely agree. Like, I would never want Damien or Jason or Jesse or any of it's not really, I guess it'd be Chris Byers' extended family, because John Mark and Melissa are no longer alive, but his brother, for example, Ryan Clark. I would never want Ryan Clark or Dawn Moore, which is Michael Moore's sister, or Steve Hobbs' sister Amanda, to ever visit, come looking for what I'm talking about with the West Memphis 3. And then the next video that gets auto-played is me, ripping some other creator for filth. I mean, the tongue that does that to the roast exists in this body and this mouth. It's my brain. It's still me. I just choose that. That's my outlet. I would much rather make fun of Chris Watts talking about, I don't have any inclination of where they are. You mean inkling, dum-dum, not inclination. And for the love of Pete, stop eating your lips. I don't know what kind of macros she's, got you back.
He's starving.
Cut back on. But
Tony
Jesus.
Tony needs to give him a protein shake.
Go lick a salt lick or something. I don't know. Do something, but because this is out of control. You're eating your mouth
That's not
right
a nice
now.
thing to call NK.
Boom.
Yeah. Poor NK.
No more empanada for you.
Cut off. So I mean, the things that make you guys laugh that I say about Chris Watts, they exist. I mean, they're coming from me. I'm capable of doing it to other people. But the thing is do I think for 1 second that Chris Watts is sitting in his cell being like, fuck that Jenn Lu, she really cut me deep just now?
Probably. He actually probably is. Somebody probably emailed him that you just said that.
Hey, Chris Watts, don't call me. I won't be taking your calls. And stop entertaining these women in the letters and then not claiming them to the other 50 women you're writing to. Okay, we've all had enough of that shit.
I can't.
Look, Chris Watts don't claim women. Ladies, if you're hearing me out there in the world, don't write to Chris Watts. He's not fixing to claim you. He didn't claim Shanann to NK. He didn't claim NK to Shanann. He doesn't claim women. Stop it.
No.
You're better than that, ladies. Come on.
That's true. Better than
And don't
Gentlemen,
send your
we're looking
daughters
at
to
you
marry.
also.
Exactly. Just stay away from him.
I mean,
Let him
you
do
guys.
his time. And trust me, Chris Watts ain't going to give you no cleaning tips you can't look up on Google. Right? I don't give a shit what he does with bounce sheets. Google knows those answers too.
Google knows.
down sheets.
Oh yeah, you just put it.
Oh, yeah.
You hang them above your bed, and you know that stinky feet prison smell. It's gone. It's a fucking miracle.
That's probably what he had to do with his buddies there.
Yeah, you can dust your Bible with it. It's fucking fantastic.
Oh my
There's 50
God.
That's his
Get
next
your
book.
Bible with it.
11 billion uses for dryer sheets.
And I've had a couple
God, we should
creators ask
write
me if I
that
want to come
book.
on and like talk about the Chris Watts case, and I literally get a stomach ache thinking about it.
Ugh, I can't talk about that case. And
It's so hard.
you can shine your commode with it. It's great. Polish the sink. It's wonderful. You can do all kinds of things with dryer sheets. Get the fuck out of here, Chris Watts.
I bet you can. I bet you can, Chris, and I bet you figure out all the uses.
Mm-hmm. That's how you're spending your time. You need to be spending your time repenting.
Hey, you know what I was thinking about the other day? So you know how they say, do any of you guys know like how much an average prisoner costs us per day or like per year? I was thinking about like because it's some outrageous amount, especially like if they're on death row, right? Like they spend so much money.
I just did a report this semester on life in prison without the possibility of parole versus death row.
You did?
Which one is cheaper?
Yeah. A death row is actually more expensive.
I've been saying that for years. That's why I'm anti-death penalty, because it costs us more money. They get
Costs a
automatic
ton more
appeals.
money. They get automatic appeals, the security measures that have to go into death row, the amount of years that the people are in there, it not being able to just all the special treatment that they actually get versus just being in Gen Pop where everything is in mass quantities.
Right.
It costs a lot more money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of the prisons, like, some are like state funded or federally funded, but some are private, like, run prisons, like for profit prisons. I was just thinking, like, man, like, that first of all, that they're padding those bids and those invoices, right? Like who the hell is watching these prisoners? Like Kim Kardashian or like I know
We are
sitters on my block. That
we watch the prisoners on fucking Locked Up.
We barely want these people to be still alive. Like this is the easiest babysitting job ever. Like just don't let him get any more injured than he already is. You can do your homework, bring your boyfriend, make out, whatever you want to do. Just like keep them alive. I mean, I know kids on the block here that will do that for like $14 an hour, and like all the money that we spend on prisoners. I know that everybody has like a bossy and kind of rude Aunt Diane, and she would do it for a 6-pack of crunchy tacos, and
I will show you a picture of my Aunt Diane right now. Oh my God.
No, you do. And she's kind of bossy. She kind of wants to be in the middle of shit. Like, and she will.
Yes, she will.
Hi, Pink Dahlia.
She'll keep them barely alive. Like they will be.
You know what?
Like we can save money on these invoices.
There are other countries though that actually spend less money on prison, right? And they have lower recidivism rates than we do in the United States.
Most money. We spend the most money. We have the most people on death row. We have the most people in prison for life without parole. We have the worst recidivism rates.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible that we think that we're solving a problem. The only reason life without parole, death penalty, is somewhat effective is because of the fact that it gives citizens some form of peace of mind.
Yeah, because it's been proven that when people commit the crime of 187, the last thought in their brain is, am I going to get the death penalty or am I going to get life without possibility? It is not a deterrent.
No.
It's been proven.
So
then you have the issue that people go into prison and they know that they're in there forever. and they don't. There's nothing to lose.
Exactly.
They-
Those are the
they-
most dangerous inmates.
Being like in solo, like being incarcerated alone, like what's it called? Like my word.
Solitary.
Thank you. So being in solitary confinement now, so as times have changed and we're all so hungry for like social approval and likes and thumbs ups and stuff, like nowadays, like we're so programmed for that, or like the next generation maybe especially. And like they say that like solitary confinement is in tune with what is it, cruel and unusual punishment for like extended lengths of time. So it's like at some point being on death row would be preferable for a criminal, like than never having another interaction. Like you're gonna have 14 more interactions until you die, you know, like
Well,
I just
death row is safer for a prisoner, that's for sure, than general population, for one thing. But I think that I think where it actually has to start, if you want to know my opinion on it, and I assume you do since you have me up here and you haven't muted
Hell
me.
yeah.
all opinions welcome.
I think it starts with early prevention, because if you think about it, most of the people that are in prison, aside from the murderers, right? That's a different breed, and those have to be dealt with differently. But I'm talking about people who are in there for nonviolent crimes, drug offenses, theft, stuff like that. They have a long rap sheet that goes back to when they're kids. And if there was we have to decide as a society what we're going to use prison for. Because what we haven't decided is it going to be for punishment? Is it strictly going to be punitive, or are we going to try to do some form of rehabilitation? Because the truth of the matter is we're failing at both.
Correct. And the problem is, in my opinion, is we're not separating those people. We're not separating the people that you talked about at first, the murderers that don't give two craps about being in there for the rest of their life. We're not separating those people from the I shouldn't say lower offenses like drug, but like from somebody who is, a manslaughter or whatever. They're not separated anymore.
No, they're not.
They're all being housed together. And then you're throwing in, and I hate to bring up old news, but you're throwing in mental illness, and I'm not just talking like anxiety type of mental illness. I'm talking about severe mental illness, and these people are not put into any. There's nothing separating them anymore. They used to have, we used to have mental facilities that people were in, but we weren't taking care of them either. So then Reagan takes them away. But now we're just putting them all together. So we can't help anybody because everybody's all mixed up, and nobody has any education to be able to take care of any of these people. But we say we're for rehabilitation.
They're being classified all wrong.
They are.
Second they
So
walk
like
into the
what would the early prevention look like? I don't know. So the other day Theresa had me thinking about, she was writing a paper and I was just bouncing ideas around in my head. But I was like, what does early prevention in like today's like day and age with like all technology and social media and stuff, like what does it even look like? And I was thinking like 18, like kids have, my son never lets me use my iPad. And he's young, and I'm not going to say how old because I don't want to be ashamed of myself right now on panel, but kids start with like the social engagement so young now, and it's just going to keep going that way. There's no backpedaling, and what if we gave younger adolescents like at an earlier age like more social responsibility to the community, where it's like a positive like we're not like a job. I mean, I'm not saying anything like that, but like what would it look like in the future, like there were like mentor groups, or like they could check like they are responsible for checking in on their seniors in this part of their town, and they could go over there and have lunch with the senior every day, and like also be accountable for like just more socially acceptable behavior. Younger,
we have to give them an alternative. So I see exactly what you're saying. So something they need to participate
Yes.
in a community outreach program,
Younger.
like younger
Yeah.
when they're young, and they start with these petty crimes, right? So if they're caught, let's say a 13-year-old is caught shoplifting, the answer is not to put them in juvie. Okay, because where they're going to be in juvenile detention is with kids who have, most of the time they're there because they have severe mental health, anger issues. They need therapy, a different kind of therapy. But you're like petty theft. Why don't we use those kids? Why don't you teach them responsibility? How about training dogs? Do you know how helping dogs, animals in general, fix human beings just as much as we fix them? And it's a sense of accomplishment. And I think that would be an excellent start, is some type of community outreach. The other thing we got to get under control is our healthcare system. Most people who are on drugs, who are drug addicts, it's because they have mental health issues and they're self-medicating because they cannot get to a psychiatrist to even be diagnosed in the first place. There will always be that small section of the community, right, who has been diagnosed with mental health disorders and they choose not to take their medication, and that's their right. But I will say that the vast majority of people, if they were offered medication and an alternative, they would take it. They just don't have, they feel like that's their only choice, is to self-medicate. But
I
if
totally
they're
agree.
shown, what is that saying? If you learn better, you do better. And I
Right.
think that's how it starts, is early intervention and on every level. And I'm not for, I don't want the government coming into my home and telling me how to raise my kids. It has to be done responsibly. And the problem is that
There's a wide
nobody,
gap between like official adult and between like 14 and 18. Like that's a wide window of like.
well, yeah. And then if you think about it, the Supreme Court has ruled that life without the possibility of parole is considered now cruel and unusual punishment for people under 18 years old. So a kid convicted of murder at 15, there are special circumstances, however, where they can still petition the court. But the truth of the matter is science doesn't lie. And the truth is that at 15 years old, the frontal lobe of your brain is not developed enough that you can understand the full ramifications of your of your actions at 15 years old.
Right.
And I am very much against throwing these children away. They're young. I'm not the same person I was at 15 years old. Granted, I didn't unalive anybody at 15 either. However, if human beings have an incredible capacity for change if they're given the opportunity. And throwing a 15-year-old away is not the answer. Something somewhere went very bad wrong, but it's not too late. But if you throw them away and you throw them into an adult prison the minute they turn 18, they will. There's no coming back from that.
No.
They're
You're creating
changed
that.
forever.
Yep.
What do you guys think about that guy that just got released?
They'll learn more crime by the older criminals that are there. They'll learn how to commit other crimes and more crime, and that will become the life that they know.
Yep.
And when they are released, if they are released, that's the life they will live.
Exactly. And the way that the prison system is, and this is just a sad fact, and this needs to stop too, because other countries don't have, I mean, there is some violence in every prison, right? But not like ours. And that's just the truth. Well, there's for where we are, as far as we're not a third world country. Okay. So we're supposed to be a little ahead of the curve here, and we should have a better handle on the crime that's being committed in our prison systems against prisoners. And the truth of the matter is, if you take an 18-year-old kid and the only thing that they know they are going to have to survive and in prison, and they will be taken advantage of, and they'll be used to commit crimes in prison because will be their form of survival. And that's just the truth. So that has to stop. And the other thing is that we don't do we also are letting the wrong people out. It is a proven fact that people who commit crimes against children, the P word, right?
Yep.
There is nothing that
Yep.
can be done to change them. There is no rehabilitation. There is nothing. But what we'd rather do is give them parole. But if you're caught selling drugs and you're sentenced to 25 years, you will do every day, every hour, every minute, every second, every month, and every year of your term and you hardly ever get parole.
And
It's an
get somebody when you're in there.
Exactly. It's an automatic sentence. And then you learn nothing while you're in prison. So you come out and you're a felon. And it's very difficult to get a job. What do you have to, money is what makes the world go round. Nothing is free in this world.
We don't make sure that people are released into a different environment than what they went in.
Exactly.
They literally go back to their families or their friends. They go back to the life that they know. They can't get jobs the majority of the time. And then if they do suffer from any form of mental illness, then that's how we end up with the homeless rate that we actually have.
Exactly.
And then those guys are going back to prison.
Exactly.
So you guys,
It's a cycle.
That guy, Eric Smith, just recently got released.
Mhm.
And he was 13 when he was charged with killing a 4-year-old named
Derek Roby.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he just got, he was just recently released.
Yeah, like within the last month.
Mm-hmm.
And people are not happy.
Yeah. So what? Okay. So if I lived in this Somewhereville in some town, and this guy did his time in prison and just got released and moved in next door. I mean, so how do we I don't even know how I would respond to that, seeing him just every day.
My issue is that we as a society do not have any faith in our prison systems for their rehabilitation, which is why when we have sex offenders, and by that I mean you're on the sex offender list if you end up peeing, if you get caught peeing in public, that, right? They put you on the list and that's it.
Yeah.
And so now if somebody doesn't understand the differences between the categories of the list, they just think you're on it, and now you could be
you're a chomo.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's how it is. You have that stigma regardless. And so if we believed as a society that our prison system was rehabilitating these people and that the majority of them were not going to come out and repeat the same crimes, then somebody like that who moved in next to you, you wouldn't be afraid.
Exactly.
Because
And that's the thing
with the system, what we don't, which is why we're afraid.
Exactly. And the thing is that when Eric Smith went to trial, there was a lot of things that came out, and there was very few that were actually known and shared to the public. And I think that people were so aghast at his age and what he did at his age to a 4-year-old, right? That their answer was he is a monster.
Yep.
And the truth of the matter is I don't actually think that Eric Smith is a monster. I think that there is his mom took medication that when she was taking it, she had no idea the impacts that it would have potentially on her son at the time, and she was pregnant with Eric, and in his brain development. Because there isn't anything other than that in his history, meaning he came from a good home. There wasn't abuse, there wasn't neglect, there wasn't anything like that in his history. He does, but what they think happened with Eric is that he did suffer while he was in utero because of the medication his mom was on. His brain did not develop correctly, and his parents did do everything that parents can do. When he started showing these signs of having behavior issues, they tried to get him help. These aren't parents that turned a blind eye. They were just as shocked as everybody else when this happened. But where he ended up going and how the prison system deals with people like Eric, he had no chance. He might have in the early years when he was still in the juvenile system, but when he got to the adult system, he didn't. And that's where he spent the majority of his time. And that's why people are scared, because it's exactly like Theresa said. We know what our prison systems are, and we have zero faith in them, and we have zero faith in them for a reason. And rather than bitch about it, we should be doing something about it, because we've been bitching about it and nothing has changed. That hasn't worked. I can make all the I can laugh at it and that changes nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we have to, we need to do something about it instead of just talking about it. Something needs to happen. We need to change things.
Well, then that's the same thing. You sit here and you go, okay, like, I'm just me. What do I do?
Rosa Parks was just one person, and look what she did.
I mean, everybody, like, I mean, anybody right now that's thinking that, like, you probably have youth in your family. You know, kids don't grow and blossom from only ever being with parents, and like, especially in COVID, you know, like, I remember when I was a kid, like, we were always with cousins, or, you know, we were doing this and that we just don't do nowadays, like, because of COVID. And I mean,
I think we don't do those things more. I think, yeah, COVID has become an issue, but I think that we don't hang with our extended families the way that our parents' generation did. And that's a fact.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that has nothing to do, that just has to do with the way that society, we change as a society. Sometimes
because it is kind of like strange for like an adult to like want to hang with like kids or whatever, you know, but like, it's like a community, like a deal, you know, like we should all be like having a hand in like helping the people, like the youth around us. I don't want to just say, I don't even want to just say like kids, like any kids, you know, like, because it's not.
Well, no, yeah, like, we don't. It's like like communities raised kids before. When I was young, we lived in
exactly
like in condos, and we went out, and we were, you know, we'd be on the streets until like 9 o'clock. But we were literally on the streets in a couple cul-de-sacs, and there was, you know, 20 parents around us that at any given time, any one of them was telling us what to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It takes and then the saying "it takes a village" didn't come from nowhere. Okay. It used to be that way. Like,
yep.
When I was a kid, my mom was a full-time working mom, but there were like 4 or 5 other moms on the street that weren't. They were stay-at-home moms.
Everybody.
So yeah, everybody. Well, everybody's parents looked out for us. My mom and dad looked out for their kids, and they looked out for us kids. You know what I mean? Yep. And we don't do that anymore because we fundamentally have begun to distrust our neighbors.
Yeah. And you know what? Also, I was kidding when I said that I know babysitters on the block. I don't know any. And also, if I could probably find one, they probably charge $70 an hour. But when I was a kid, like, parents want to go out. There was the girls babysat, and there was plenty of babysitters. You could get a team of babysitters to come to your house and watch kids, and it was fun for everybody. Like, and that was okay. That's what you did. I remember before I could drive, I remember the parents picking me up and taking me back home. Yep. So, you know, 14, 15, and that was and that does not happen now. Like,
but think about why that doesn't happen. We have been sitting here on this panel for 2 hours and 36 minutes talking to each other. I am in Florida. Theresa is in Cali, and you girls are where you are. And we've had we don't, but we're still interacting. We're not forced to go outside and out of our home because we have the internet. That's a lot of it too. Yes. We have to. I think as human beings, because it's just how human beings are, we're not very good at finding the balance. We are always at one extreme or the other.
Yes. And I was just saying this today.
And having like in real life friends like really opens you up for criticism.
Well,
I guess both. Like real life criticism. Like,
I love the fact that I have like my real life friends that are here. I also, I mean, I've lived all over the country, so I have friends that I've had for 20 plus years that I talk to that live all over the country. But then social media has allowed me to meet so many people that I never would have had the chance to meet.
Right.
You know, and it just in our community, and it's been enlightening. For the most part, it's been enriching and somewhat troublesome on other ends, but you know, to know what's actually out there in the world and what there, you know, what kind of people are actually out there.
There's some fucked up ducks in this world.
There's ducks in there, but for the most part, I mean, there's great people that you would never have met if you didn't have social media. But it
I-
does. I'm a homebody anyway. When I was young, I hated being at home, but I love being at home now. And
Me
but it
too.
gives
Me too.
it
I'm my
gives me
favorite
the
person.
opportunity to take the break from my norm, which I don't work right now, but I go to school well over full time, and and then I'm a mom of 3 kids and a wife, and it gives me the feeling where I do get to go outside and hang out with my girls. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
don't
you get
drive
to have a little
anywhere.
Theresa time where you're
Right.
you're not your kid's mom, you're not your husband's wife, you're
Right.
just Theresa, and you get to talk about the stuff that interests you and fascinates you. I can't talk true crime with my husband. He just looks at me and he's like, I swear to God, if you tell me
Thank
one
you,
more
Tanya.
horror story.
Well, that's mine. It's funny because like if I bring up something to my husband, he's like, "Oh God, here we go." But then like he'll be like, "Oh, so are you like watching this trial that's going on right now? I just read
Mine
something
did
about
it
it."
too.
And
He
I'm
said,
like, "Wait, you're not interested. What are you doing right now?"
Theresa, you're a glutton for punishment now that I think of it.
I really am.
mine
Your
called
husband
me to
reduced-
let me know, hey, Jen, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they're gonna show that trial. It's gonna be on TV.
See,
You're gonna cover it. And I was
He's
like,
such a
babe,
good husband.
I'm already working on the opener. Of course I'm covering it.
Of course,
But then
I'm
if you bring it up
If
to him,
my
he's like,
husband was here,
I
he
don't
would
want to
be
hear all
on
that
panel.
I am a glutton for punishment, though. I have a problem with putting too much on my plate, thinking that I'm still 20 and I can do everything.
I thought, I do the same thing. I was covering Todt and Johnny Depp, and to be quite frank with
I
you,
thought you were crazy.
I was so, by the time by 10 o'clock, I would be so sick of my own voice. Although I always love I swear to, I
love your channel.
thank you so much.
I
think
love your channel. I love the content. I love the people in chat. Besides your
Because
weird.
nobody.
Thank you.
It's so like its own little circle. Like,
Oh, I love it.
and you just feel like everybody loves you.
It like cheers the bar.
Nobody brings
Right,
up anything.
we're-
Nobody asks awkward questions. And
No.
to make
And
jokes.
Is there ranch in there? I'm sorry? Ranch in the back?
I feel like the reason that is because I've kept it straight true crime. And I don't like, okay, I know you guys probably don't like read my comment section. Why would you, unless you're leaving a comment? But I read my comment section. It's not that I don't get negative comments on my videos that I've done. I do. But you know what I don't do? I don't, especially, it depends on what the comment is. Most of the time I will just thank them for their suggestion. So there are some West Memphis 3 comments I get that I simply will not entertain, because I can tell by the comment that they didn't watch the video and that it's just the same. You don't like police.
The stuff that I'm talking about, like with Delphi.
Exactly. You don't like the police. You don't. Okay. Well, but the thing is that they only make that comment one time. If I were to answer them and react to it, then there's I'm inviting them, I'm engaging, and I'm giving them an opportunity to have their say back at me. I am confident in my research and the opinion that I have formed from that research, that I no longer care to debate it with anybody.
Yep.
There's nothing that there now I could change my opinion.
Think that's totally fair. I think that you're totally open to discussing it, intelligently with anybody.
Yeah, she's just not opening the door for it. That's all.
Yeah,
I don't mind
welcome anyone. Like,
I will listen to and I will discuss I'll discuss and respect anybody's opinion. I understand that not everybody agrees with me that the West Memphis 3 are innocent, and that's okay. But what I'm not going to do is engage with somebody who's going to tell me what my content is, not having not my content.
Right.
That's pointless.
You're just
That's
I'm not
what
any type of discussion / debate, as long as it's literally just that. It just I don't know why people want to fight about it.
Exactly.
If it's just some stupid dramified comment that really had nothing to do with anything.
Right. I'm not going to devolve. There are times when I can tell from somebody's comment if I were to respond back, if it's going to devolve into name calling. I have no time. It's not that I don't have time for that. I have time. I do a fuck ton of nothing all the time. I choose not to have time for that.
Love it.
I don't want to have time for that. My schedule is full for that.
I love your chat. I really do, because it's just
Thank
so
you.
like, it's so Yeah, it really is just like it's a circle by itself.
It's just an honest chat. I love it. I love the panel. I love when they do their roast. I love everything about the channel.
Thank you so
Yep,
much. I
totally
appreciate
agree.
that. I like you guys over here too. I just wish Theresa, I'd be over here more if Theresa would go live more. I'm over here every time she's live. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
God, it's
trust
like
me, I
the
know.
18th. It's like a full moon. Theresa must be
But this is
live.
why I say, like, I literally put so much on my own plate, thinking like, oh, I could achieve everything, and then I'm like,
Theresa,
the reality hits, and I'm like, I achieved it. Shit, I got nothing done. Like, I don't know how I do it to myself, but it never fails. So today, when the live was supposed to be, we were supposed to start at 6, and I'm like on with Michelle before we start, and I'm like, I just realized it's like 5:45. I haven't eaten all day. I got everything
Aw.
else done. I got my hair did. I got my homework done. I got everything done. Everything done. And I realized I didn't eat today.
Mhm.
So
So
my
far, you got a little bit
husband gave
done.
me Jack in the Box to get me something to eat so I didn't die.
she didn't send me a PowerPoint, which I bet she regrets now.
No, I was good because I knew that we were going to kind of just talk about different cases and whatever. It was kind of just going to be like more. It wasn't like a one case that we were going to go over. If Tony wasn't convicted already and sentenced him for
Right?
life sentences, I may have actually sent you
Move
some
through
stuff.
his trial.
But like I felt like, oh my gosh, I accomplished a ton. But yet somehow something always doesn't make it.
Right.
Like, I mean, I got laundry done today. I got dishes done today. But no, I did not feed myself.
Well, I mean,
That's
look,
important.
you knocked out several things off your list. It's bound to one thing not happening is not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. Don't beat
But this is how
yourself
I feel
up.
like every day. I feel like there's always like that one thing like I thought I was going to be able to do, and then I can't. Like last week, I mean, I had cases I wanted to talk about. We had stuff we were going to do, and I'm like, I can't do it because I didn't do my homework. You know what I mean?
You're so honest, though. I loved it. She was just like, it is what it is. Like, I
I
don't have
there's nothing
time.
I
I
can
have
do
to get
about
this
it. I
paper.
don't have. I literally, she's like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "No, everything's fine. I literally don't. I don't have enough time in my life."
So yeah, and the thing is that I think
Sorry,
for
let
you,
me skip.
well, for me, and I think you're this way too, Theresa. When you have done something well one time, that's the bar that you set. So you don't want. For me, I
I
don't
can't have
want to.
that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything unless I can be that good every
Right,
time. If I can't give it, I'm either going to give 100% or 0%. There's
right.
no in
Yes.
between with me.
Yep.
I agree with this.
That's literally how it is. If I don't have everything I need, I can't do it. I just can't. I have to have everything. Like for a case, I hate not knowing all the things.
Right. Or at
Like I have to
least
know. And then how do you do that when you're covering multiple cases at the same time? And then I like once again put too much shit on my own plate, and then
Mhm.
my expectations are set too high for my own self.
Yeah. I think I'm by far my hardest critic.
Oh yeah, me too.
But I will say this, even the negative comments that I have ever gotten on my channel, I've learned something from them. Like I got I don't find it to be negative. Somebody left a comment and they said, "I wish that you would title your channel or your videos so I could watch them in order." Well, I could have been really flip about it because the truth is that they're in the playlist, and the way I have it set up is that the playlists are in the front, not the videos,
Okay.
So the videos are the playlist. I go and add to them, and they're in order, right? Instead, I could have been an asshole about it, but the truth is that it's actually a good suggestion because obviously, even though I can see the channel the way that I intended for it to be set
Yep.
up, when they look at it, they don't see it that way.
Right.
So rather than be a dick about it, it was actually a really good suggestion, and I thanked them.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I feel like that's part of the that's how it starts. It's that very small interaction. If I would have if I chose to be an asshole about it, it would depending. Some people will walk away from assholes like me. Other people will engage assholes. Also me. I've done that too.
I'm
That's
like,
why
I'm going.
this is why I know that I don't want to do it because I've done it and I'm tired of doing it. Right. So I choose not to do it anymore. I'm no saint or anything. I used to get down and dirty. I just don't do it anymore. I don't like, I see how I don't want to ever do anything that I know is going to hurt somebody's feelings. And I know that if I were to engage in drama or arguing back and forth about a person rather than like a situation, right? Made it personal. I know that I have a sharp tongue, and I know that I'm capable of hurting somebody's feelings, and I don't want that. Doesn't make me feel good
Right.
to hurt
Yeah.
somebody like that.
Yeah. No, I
And
so agree.
you
It's
know
so
what?
much
I don't-
easier to go
I
back.
don't have,
And when you
like-
don't go back, you don't have to. You get to sleep
Exactly.
at night. You get to
Exactly.
feel good. You don't have to wake up with that negative that they wake up with, and you're just like, God, you have to be just a very miserable. You actually feel sorry for them. Like there's
And
an
you know, I
essential.
don't have time for listen. My name on YouTube is Christine. Like this is who I am.
Sorry,
It's
mister.
tied to my business. I take a ton of pride in like what I do. The quality of my work never disintegrates across the board, and I take offense, whether I say it or not, to people suggesting that my quality is degraded or anything like that. If you don't like what I give you or love what I give you, then I know it will never see the light of day. But my name is Christine. I don't have like all these alts. I can't even remember my own passwords. Like I can't remember 7 alt passwords also.
I leave
And
my
I'm
ass
just
logged
one
in because
person.
I'm
Stop it. Did I lose you guys?
No.
Okay. My dog just barked really loud right in my ear. Sorry.
What a day. Did we lose Jen?
Friday. Jen. Oh, she muted herself the last time, maybe.
reason, if I move the laptop outside,
You leaned on it again.
no, I didn't. It mutes it because it like loses connection for just a second outside. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. It's been doing this for a while. I need to get a new. I need to exchange my modem. I've been saying I need to do that for like 6 months. It's on the list. It'll get done.
And you know what else? Like everybody is, everybody's welcome here that, has common sense. This is like the only thing that really, you can have any opinion, just have a ton of common sense also. And if your name is just your only name on YouTube, that's okay. Like you don't have to come up with an alt. We're not going to like be weird about it. Like, we probably don't know you on Facebook. Some of our lunches, we don't actually know where to find on
Buddy.
Facebook.
It's true.
Shout out to my shining star. She's in here. Anyways, but like if you want to come in and you don't have another YouTube account to like protect your privacy, like your privacy is already totally respected here. Like what happened. Like you just don't need to remember all these passwords.
Right.
fine
Like
here.
what I say
You're
the
safe
same.
here.
Whatever happens on the ward stays on the ward. But what I can promise that while you're in my chat on my channel,
You'll be
fine. However, the truth of the matter is that once that live is over and that chat gets uploaded to the YouTubes, after that, it's out of my control. And I would encourage everybody to do their level best to protect their privacy, because here's the thing. I can't remember who was, there was somebody had said a while back, and I don't even remember where I heard it, about that there's a good way to do drama. The truth of the matter is there really is not. And I'll tell you why. Because of this. I have a personal line that I would never cross. Okay. But that doesn't mean the person that I'm engaging with in the drama has that same line. And there are people,
Absolutely.
YouTube is a microcosm of society. All right.
Okay.
That's just the truth. Everybody has their own personal line, right? And there are people that come together because their lines are generally the same, right? But you don't have control over anybody else's line but yours. And so the fact that the thing is I don't want to engage in it, because I know what it only ever escalates. It doesn't ever get resolved.
Yep.
Ever.
You're not going to squash it by entertaining the full back. It's just
You
not.
know what? True crime should not
There's
be
drama enough in true crime for
creating
Pete's
true
sake.
crime.
Look at Ezra.
in
Like,
the
there's
cases
enough to do.
themselves. Like,
Exactly. Look at Ezra. I could have made 18 different lives of her outfits
yep.
and her hairdos. Okay, alone.
They would have been good.
Poor
Not
Tammy Lee's
to-
sweater is in a corner somewhere crying
Exactly.
now.
Poor Tammy Lee and her back patting self. Bless her little heart. Poor Tammy Lee. just over
I got
there.
that
You know,
photo.
she wanted to chuck. You know, she wanted to punch him. You know that. You know, she was like, "Man, if these cameras weren't on, you would be the victim of police brutality."
I hope if
I'm
I
just-
ever have like gain notoriety for something that I have that one really sparkle outfit piece on that is remembered.
I probably would
No.
if I'd ever turned my damn camera on. But you know why I don't? Because it's not because I'm ashamed of the way I look. Teresa knows what I look like. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
you're
not
gorgeous.
really. Thank you. I'm all right. It's that. I'm.
No,
I'm.
you're
I'm.
you're very pretty.
Thank you. The thing of it is, I think you girls are all pretty too. You know why I don't turn my camera on? Because the minute I turn my camera on, the focus then becomes what I look like and not what I'm saying. I would so much rather people take issue with the crap that comes out of my mouth than what my mouth looks like, what my eyes look like, how my hair is done that day, what outfit I'm wearing. Because at the end of the day, that shit doesn't matter.
But while you're imagining it, go ahead and imagine a perfect 10.
Nobody is a 10. I would say realistically, I'm 45 now. I'm a good 6. But my humor,
Michelle's on our
Back
panel.
in the day,
She's
back
here.
in the day, I was a solid 10. Yeah, but I've had a couple kids later in life. Yeah, I'll go with a solid
You're
6,
my 10.
7. I'm good.
I'm a 6, and my humor,
Here's the thing is I
My
feel
humor's a 20.
my humor might
I'm
push
not
me
out
up
here
to a
looking
7.
for. I'm not out here looking for a husband. I mean, shoot, if I got rid of the husband I had, I would never want another one. So I mean,
Right?
I'm not trying to meet anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Exactly. I
Women
don't.
think it's so
If
strange.
what I
Like
look
when
like matters that much and is more important than my content, then I mean,
Then you were already in trouble then.
I'm already, yeah, I guess so. Then I'm in the wrong line of business because, I think that the content is what's important.
Which should be.
Exactly.
My husband
are
just came. "Did you
volunteers
say
here."
something about getting rid of me?" I said, if I didn't have you as my lovely husband, I would never want another because you're the best one that could ever be, is what I said.
And the
Nobody
truth,
would ever compare, so I would never want another
Exactly.
one.
exactly. Sinead O'Connor wrote, "Nothing compares to you."
Yeah,
for you.
Nothing compares to you, so I would never
Teresa's
want another
husband.
husband.
The truth
That's
is
so pretty.
that looks are
I don't-
subjective.
He said it. That's right. You just don't want to go through the effort, which is once again true.
It's like training. Look, once you've
I'm
gotten
tired.
once you've gotten a dog housebroken, do you really want to bring another puppy in that you know is going to pee on your floors?
I just
No.
did that, Jen. I literally just did that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and you see how you
Husband,
feel.
by the
That's
way.
about the same thing as taking on a new husband.
Yeah, I think it's even harder. Puppies are cute and cuddly.
Like mine knows exactly. I mean, I love him, obviously. That's why we're together. But
Right.
he knows me better than
Yep.
any. We've known each other since I was 18 and he was 21. Okay.
That's crazy.
He knows exactly when to give and he knows exactly when to take. And the other thing, and I think this is more important than anything in the world, he knows what I order from every fast food joint. He knows exactly how I like it, what to leave
Yes.
off, what to add. And that's important. And I don't have the time, the energy, or the inclination to reteach that to anybody.
It's
Fuck
so
that
true.
shit.
It's such a good way to put it. Mine does too.
Yeah,
And
He's
knows
a-
which ones I like, which ones I don't like.
exactly. Exactly. He knows
I
if I,
That's a
see
good
the
point.
clothes. I'm not. Oh hell no.
I just don't, and the truth of the matter is, like I started to say earlier, is beauty is subjective. What's pretty to me may not be pretty to you. What's handsome
right.
to me not be handsome to you. And the other thing is, let's be honest. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. None of us on these YouTube streets are doing this YouTube gig in between modeling gigs. Okay, and that's the fucking truth.
You don't know me.
I don't know your life.
Hey, Amber Heard was a model at one time. And she's on YouTube now.
Bless her heart for L'Oreal. They didn't even give her the good line, which would be Lancome. Did you know that, L'Oreal?
You don't know.
I think her ship sailed. She's with the ways of the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Once it came out that she shit on the bed, that's it. Like, you're pretty. How do you
She's
come
not
back
pretty
from
either.
that?
She's not pretty. It wasn't
No.
like an accident. It's not like she was sick or anything like that. No, she did that shit like intentional.
Right. It's not like
gonna want to be your husband. Like, so if I piss you off, are you gonna literally like come shit my bed?
right. It's not like she trusted a fart. Okay.
No, it's not like that at all. It's like it was totally intentional.
You know, like she totally got up on the bed, dropped trowel, and did what she did.
If he takes the stand, his attorneys better question her 100% on that story.
They better. They have to. That's the test. I don't give a rat's fat kneecap about anything else that Puta has to say. I want to hear why the fuck you thought it was a good idea to shit on a bed. There are so much more effective ways to get to somebody that don't end with public humiliation, with the world finding out you pooped on somebody's bed.
Yeah, good luck getting a job now, buddy.
Right. Right. And since your lawyer couldn't even pronounce the name of the bruise cream, that's a fucking miracle, apparently. Works miracles, right? They're not going to sign you either.
Yeah, you got no sponsors.
Exactly.
There's no sponsorship coming from Amica.
You're hosed, lady.
Ruined her job
Okay.
at Taco Bell.
I don't even think Taco Bell would hire her because she has
She
a problem with
tacos.
She wasn't a why behind this poop bed thing.
She was mad at him.
She was mad
She's
at him.
mad.
She was
Yeah.
mad. She was mad.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
couldn't you look, why you don't watch a movie like Waiting to Exhale? You see how Angela Bassett handled that? She got dumped. She took the red wagon into her husband's closet. She borrowed the kid's wagon, hauled all of his clothes in it, hauled it out to the car, and set that shit on fire like a normal person.
Yeah, like a
Okay.
normal.
You felt that for
Like-
her, oh,
Like a
good moment.
They don't feel bad for Amber Heard. I don't. Like at that point, I probably would have beat the shit out of a bitch. I'm just saying, like you just shit in my bed.
Right? Oh.
Like there's got to be some type of defense in that.
I swore somewhere it was like this weird, crazy sex thing, but now that I know the why was just because, it's that much weirder. I don't understand.
Worked up a stars is like I can't handle it. I can't handle this.
It'd be hilarious. It's like Elon
I'm wrong.
just left in with the tweet like she's a liar, and then just ended everything. How he
Yeah.
does his like saving the day thing, and he just could tweet Amber Heard is lying, and it would be over.
Done.
Exactly. But this is the thing that is so frustrating to me about this case specifically, is that she, in her op-ed article, right, she talked about being a spokesperson for domestic violence and then her gig with the ACLU. Okay. And Me Too. She quoted a lot of good movements, right, that do look out for the victim. Right. But if she's lying about this, it sets victims back and they have to start all over again. This is what happens.
Real victims are not going to like her.
Exactly. This is, you know, this has real world long-term ramifications for other people. For real victims. And that's the problem that I have, is that the thing, and this is the other problem I have. We as women outnumber the men something like 5 to 1. It's some crazy statistic, right? But we're so busy tearing each other down and fighting with one another that's why we can't run the world. If we would stop fighting with each other and recognize that another woman's success does not take away from yours. You shouldn't be in competition with other people. You should be in competition with yourself. If you know that you can run a 5-minute mile, then you should never accept yourself running anything other than a 5-minute mile. You shouldn't trip the girl next to you because she can run it in 4:50. Your best is your best. Which, by the way, any girl that can run the mile in a 4:50, I'd like to, because that's a quick mile. That's a
Is that
quick
like
mile.
4 hours and 50 minutes?
No, 5 minutes.
4 hours and 50 minutes. Let's make that work.
On her bike.
Yeah,
Then you don't even have to trip me.
exactly. I mean, look, I don't got to be in a zombie. This is my main mission statement. In a zombie apocalypse, I don't got to be the fastest, but I just got to outrun you. Just got to be faster than the person next to me. But
You're not
that
on my
being-
zombie apocalypse team.
But that being said, I wouldn't push you down in order to get away from a zombie. If I could help, I would help. But that's, that's what really, if you think about it, that's really what a lot of it, because the majority of users and anybody that has a channel that puts out content, go look at your analytics. If you ever do, it's actually kind of shocking. That thing breaks it all the way down. It'll tell you what country people are watching from. It'll tell you not only the sex, but the gender, or that is the so Jesus, Jen. The age.
It'll tell you what device they're using.
It tells you all the things. Look, it's run by Google. Google is a snitch. Okay, it tells you everything.
Not a lot of people realize how much, like, the tools that are embedded into, like, Google business profiles and business managers, and like, they don't actually realize how much information. I mean, obviously they don't, or they wouldn't be hitting I agree all the time.
Exactly. Google is a snitch. But I'll say this, the majority of it's majority women in this community, in the true crime community. And so all you're doing when the drama comes is you're tearing down another woman. All right. And let me just say this, when women unite, and we have done it before, that's how we got the right to vote and not be beat on by our husbands. We can do wonderful and amazing things. When we're fighting each other, we're not doing those things, and we're all better than that. Most of the people, I think, on YouTube, just in general, in the world, I think that the good far outweighs the bad. But the problem is that the bad always is what gets the attention.
Unfortunately.
But we could all change that. Instead of talking about something that's going bad in the community, maybe we should talk about something that's going good in the community. Because we've talked about the bad, and that's not been effective. So instead of doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, the definition of insanity, why don't we do something different? Instead of talking about the negative in the community, why don't we talk about the good in the community and encourage each other to have channels that do true crime content?
I think we did that too. I was
think
saying how great your channel is.
Yes, we did. We can, but think about this is the spark that starts it. I come to your channel and support you. You've come to my channel and support me. And we're not fighting with each other. We're not competing for views. I'm not saying I covered the Todt trial. How dare you talk about the Todt trial?
Oh God. Oh, my God, I hate that.
I'm over here because I want to talk about it with you. Right. And when you wanted to talk about it with me, you came over to my channel.
Right.
We're not,
But Jenn, you better not ever use the color purple.
No, I totally agree. I like that. I like that. I like having, other people just in the community in general, not even just other creators or anything, that you can just talk to. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. It does. But at the end of the day, after the conversation, there isn't going to be like, oh my God, is she going to go live and say, I just said this or that? Or is it am I going to be did I say something wrong? You know what I mean? You're not second guessing everything that just came out of your mouth all the time.
Exactly.
Because you understand that people aren't just one dimensional and don't just have one thought process. Tomorrow, I'll tell you my theory on whatever might be totally different. And it's okay.
Unless it's about Pat Peterson. But anyways.
No. We're going to stick with that. Christina's not invited to any of the Scott Peterson.
I might read something tomorrow and change my mind.
She gets in.
and say, I do think Anthony Todt ate that pie today. I don't think he did. I mean, that's the thing. You can change your opinion based on new information. In fact,
right.
I encourage people to do that. If you learn something new that changes the way you perceive things, it's a good idea to just go ahead and change it instead of saying, no, I formed my opinion yesterday and now I'm done.
Yeah, I know. I'm done.
That's it. I'm done.
God. Christina will do that, but then the next day she still comes in with a whole new theory.
Exactly. That's how it should be.
The case, I'm done. And then the next day she's like, I've solved the case again and I'm done.
If I would have stopped solving all these cases 4 saves ago, I don't know where we'd be today, okay?
It's so true. It's so true. But see, but that's the thing is like, but you take the time to actually get to know people and figure out like if I didn't know Christina, I was like, oh my god, she like thinks she solved this case, and now oh my god, now here she solved this case again. But I mean, we know each other, so I know like tomorrow there's going to be another case that's solved for the 5th time, and it's okay because I like that about it. You know what I mean?
When I
But
tell
I'm
her.
just saying, like, I don't have to go live and say, oh my gosh, Christina solved everything,
and it's wrong. And she used I don't like her tone at all.
I don't like her tone at all.
She solved it wrong, and I don't like her tone.
Solved it wrong.
I'm going live.
I'm going live about it right now.
Like, yeah.
Trust me, I can tell you, I probably can't even count on both hands anymore how many times I would love to just go address all the bullshit in the world and say my piece and walk away. And then I will message Christine or Michelle or one of the girls, and they'll be like, no, just stay right here and you're good. Like, just chill.
I understand why you feel that way, and I have felt the same way about certain things. But the thing is that I did address my situation at one point, and that's all I care to address. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said my piece about what I had to say, and now I'm done with it, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. And it is what it is. You know, it's been a long time. I'm at this point, I am now ambivalent. I don't have feelings one way or another about it. It's
for me, I almost want to wait until I'm at that point before I would say anything, because otherwise I have so much emotion that sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's anger. And depending on what time of the day that is, if I chose to just go live and say whatever the hell I wanted to, then the other part gets lost. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what? Like nowadays, like you can't say anything without receipts. And it's like, you know what? Screw
and I don't want to do that either.
CVS. I don't need any more receipts. Okay, listen. If you can't, like, if you can't not hear my explanation and just understand that there's receipts behind it, like, you know, anybody could say
You
whatever.
can't, because there's so much in social media that's just made up. So you have to be able to prove it. You have to. Otherwise,
so, like, I'm not gonna. So,
but
I
here's
know.
the thing.
I'm not gonna.
Here's the thing, though. Like, it depends on the situation. But what I have learned, and some of it's by going through it, and some of it is just being by watching. What I've learned about and taken away is that you may feel inclined to give an explanation, but what I've learned is that the people who know you don't need the explanation. And the people who you would be explaining to, they've probably already formed their opinion on you, and whatever explanation you give, no matter what you show or don't show, or what you say or don't say, you're not going to change their mind. So it's like that adage where if you have 100 people and 99 of them like you and one person doesn't, why would you devote your time focused on the one person that doesn't like you and not chill with the 99 people who do?
Right. You're 100% right. I just sometimes you just need somebody else to tell you that, so that you get. Yes, she needs to be outside. Don't let her in. The puppy's decided that it's playtime, and she's going crazy and has run. She has a swimming pool in the backyard.
She's got the zoomies.
Yep, she's got the zoomies. And so, but she has a swimming pool in the backyard because she's spoiled. And so she's run through the swimming pool into the little one sandbox, into whatever else she's gotten into, and she's a flipping disaster. And this is pretty much how it goes at, almost 10 o'clock at night.
Bless her little heart. But that's the thing. I think that I just don't. Okay, I understand when a person feels that somebody is saying something about them that's a lie, the need to want to correct the lie. But the truth of the matter is exactly what I said. The people who know you know it's a lie. And the other truth is that there will always be people who don't believe you regardless of what you show. However, your behavior, for the people who can be convinced, it's your behavior that will convince them, not what you say.
Such a fair point.
And I mean, at some point, like, behavior to start catching up to people, and like, that's fine.
I mean,
Like-
look, I'm a firm believer in when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. That doesn't mean that people can't be given second chances. They
Right.
can be. People can change, but the best thing to do is to sit back and let them change. Give them their space to change. Either they will or they won't, and you don't have control over either one. So it's best not to worry about it and just focus on whatever it is that you can control. And that's all you can do.
Boom. Mic drop.
Bam. It's my fortune
It's true, though.
cookie
No, you're
moment for the
100%
day.
right. See, I might have to throw you into the circle of who I have to message when
Seriously.
I'm ready to.
He said everything like it's
It's true.
But there's been things that I have heard that I've wanted to react to, and it hasn't even been like specific to me, but just things that I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
But then I think about it. I don't have any magic combination of words, no matter how eloquently I put them, whether I joke about it, it doesn't matter. There's no magic combination of words that's going to change somebody's thought process. They got to figure it out on their own. And all it's going to do for me is to bring me a bunch of bullshit that I don't want to deal with. So the best thing for me to do is just be quiet, and I walk away whenever something's going on a channel that I frequent that I don't like or I'm not interested in. I just go to a different channel. I don't I never say anything. I never, I'm leaving. Nobody gives a fuck if I leave.
Nobody gives a shit if I leave.
Nobody cares.
No. Well, the other thing is I've learned in this YouTube world is you can't just like pop into a chat anymore and just say hi. Like you almost have to stop and pay attention to what's happening before you're allowed to even talk. Because there's so much.
They have that comment tracker.
Well, like no, because everybody's like watching who's and where and what. Like,
Oh God.
I don't know. It's like the craziest shit. Like there's so many channels that I enjoy watching, and I literally just pop in and I just say hi. Like your chat, I know that like I could just pop it in, I just say hi. But
Right.
like other ones, I enjoy watching, but it's not always. It's the back and forth. So sometimes it's true crime, sometimes it might not be. But if you just go in and say hi, you're screwed. Almost.
Exactly. Because you
I
could
didn't know what the hell I walked in and said hi to.
Right. You could have typed out the letters H and I and hit send, and they weren't talking about something that might be
At the wrong
screenshot
moment
worthy,
Yeah.
right? But then here comes the YouTubes with their instigating ass, and they decide to send that and put it in the chat at the most inopportune moment, and then it looks like you're co-signing. And the thing is that when I first came to YouTube, it didn't used to be like that.
No, it wasn't like that at all.
I don't know when that changed or why that changed, but this is what I will say. I don't take attendance in my channel. I don't even like to use the word creator. I have a channel. But I also sub to other people's. I'm also a viewer.
Right.
So I'm not going to I don't want anybody taking attendance on me. We're not in school. So I'm not going to take attendance on other people. And the truth is, it's not because I'm such a great, magnanimous person. I'm fucking lazy. And I don't want to keep up with where I saw the fuck you. I don't want to go look.
I know.
I don't remember if I came yesterday or not.
I don't either. I don't either. It's so true. But that's how I feel now. It's like almost like and this is why people will create the alts to go into other places so they can just talk and be and
enjoy
and be who they are without actually being who they are.
Exactly.
It's the craziest world. And I don't know when it changed, and I don't know why it changed, but it definitely has changed. And I mean, I tell myself, like, there's obviously still just true crime channels. I mean, look at your channel. It's true crime, right? Like,
right.
So it's not like there's not any true crime channels, but it's like, I think the community that like we were, I don't want to say raised in, but like that we came up in YouTube is the community that's totally different. And so by looking out, you have to almost like go to other true crime communities to get true crime content.
Well, you know
Exactly.
what really sucks about all like drama and stuff like in the true crime community is that like when your personal business, like this YouTube isn't my business. You know, this is not what I do for a living. Like,
Right.
When your personal business, like your name, business name, and it gets like attacked and tagged like elsewhere, you know, it's just like it's so. I think it's like really revealing, not in a good way, for whoever would do that, because like, what does their personal business, like feed their family and stuff, like have to do with this drama? You know, like,
Well,
It doesn't.
it doesn't. But here's the thing. I'll put it to you like this. You guys have kids. You guys have seen the movie Bug's Life, right?
Yep.
All right. The ants outnumber the grasshoppers. All right. So you can put that like the subs outnumber the creators, right? And if the subs, they are what dictates a success or a not successful channel, right? So and I'm a sub. So if I'm watching something that and something happens in on a channel that I don't agree with, and I see that it's not a one-time situation, but it's a pattern, right? What I do? I stop watching. If enough subs if I hear a lot of people complaining about the same thing. You want to know how you fix that? Stop going to those channels.
Right.
Stop talking about going to those, don't announce why you're not going to the channel. Just stop. If it ever came to a point where I was doing content and I had no views, I would know I'm doing something wrong. People do not like what I'm putting out. Let me change. That's how you effect change. By action. And action of leaving the chat will do it. Not leaving the chat, making a channel and bitching the person out. That's not going to work. That doesn't change shit.
I just think that it's so like if you had a restaurant, like let's say in like your real life you had a restaurant, Jen, you know, and then we got in a fight somehow on YouTube. I would not be like, nobody ever eat at this restaurant.
Well, that's what they do. The people are crazy. They go and leave like
what?
Yelp reviews and weird shit.
Yes.
That's not fair. Like, what is the restaurant?
But
you don't live there.
I'd be like, don't watch Jenn Lu's channel because she doesn't like me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or how about, do you guys ever see Burger King and McDonald's beefing?
Right?
Well, this is what I feel about YouTube. I'm always like, okay, I watch shows on CBS and NBC, and neither one of them have ever contacted me about watching shows on the other channel.
They have. I have to say this too. I hear people talk a lot about, you don't know the emails and the screenshots I get. Do you know about the emails and the screenshots I get? You know how many I get? None. You know why that is? It's not because my email is not available. It's on my about section. People email me. But why would they email me about a situation they know I'm not going to talk about?
Right.
You already know you're not going to engage.
Exactly.
Set a tone from when you realize, and because we all got to learn and we all got to walk through it, and no one's perfect in life.
No, but I learned how I wanted a channel to be, not by making a channel, but by being a viewer of channels. I saw what I liked and I kept the things I liked, and I said, I'm not going to do the things that I don't like. And calling out other people on YouTube is something that I chose not to do. And there's nothing that anybody could say about me that's going to make me change that policy.
I also think that's why you're so confident, you're content in your channel. You're not worried about what a lot of other probably creators are worried about, but you're happy. And that's probably what should matter. I mean, for me, I think that's what should matter, and it shows. You came on here and you gave us the nicest conversation I've had in a very, very long time.
Hey,
Very much. I'm sitting here like, I just love Jenn fucking Lu. Like, oh my God. You have said everything that everything has been like this. Like, I can't even, like, I'll start pitching. But like,
you guys don't eat at her restaurant. Yeah.
You can't anymore.
Christine's about to go.
Right now. Oh, I really do.
Christine's about to go leave me a negative stars review on my Yelp.
Oh my god. No, but and then turning off the reply feature. And you cannot
Jenn Lu
even-
is the bomb. She really is.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just want I treat people the way that I want to be treated. And the thing of it is I don't expect anything from anybody, but I will be respectful. I expect more of myself. So I just behave. Look, and I'm not I know you guys aren't saying that I'm not perfect, and I think that goes without saying. I think that's a given. I
Well,
mean,
I don't know. Mel just pretty much said you were perfect, and we're not. So.
oh
That's fine.
yeah,
You can tell
let's
she's
fight.
learned. You've learned.
No, I know.
You're not just smacking us with advice like, here, listen, ladies, go do that. You're like, no, this is what I've been through. This is where I've been. This is how I got through it. This is what I learned from. This is when I was acting like a smacked ass myself, but now I've grown from it. I don't like the way I feel.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Turney vibes. Like
No, it's amazing. Like, it's so positive. I love it.
thank you. Well, I haven't been an asshole on YouTube. I used to be, and I was never really an asshole on Facebook, but I would be very quick to leave like a two sentence real snarky remark
Yeah.
or comment.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because I feel like that's about that's the attention span I have. So if somebody's going to read me for filth, if you can't do it in 150 characters or less, I'm not going to read it.
I'm not even about
give
it.
me the too long didn't read version. You know, if you're going to call me an asshole, don't take 45
Just
paragraphs
fucking say
to
it.
do it.
Just do
Exactly.
it.
Just call me
Just
an
do
asshole
it.
from the beginning sentence and leave it at that.
Like I said, I've already got a ton of shit on my plate. I don't have time to listen to your 45-minute spiel about how I'm an asshole.
Right. Just call me an asshole and
That's
say
right.
you're not going to be my friend. You know, like this is how I feel about I saw this
Well,
meme one
what
time.
if I want to get in the fight with you next week, and then I can retract these statements and say that you were an asshole still this week, right?
I can be, you know what? The truth of the matter is today I'm not being an asshole. Tomorrow you may change I may say something you're like, that's fucked up. Jen's an asshole.
Jen's such an asshole. I don't
you
know. I
only
just
think
don't
I
see
did.
that happening.
I
just don't see that happening.
I can be a nice you can agree with me on Friday, think I'm a fucker on Saturday, and back to being agreeing with me on Sunday. Yeah, I'm capable. Those things are not mutually exclusive. Sometimes people don't agree with the things that come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't agree with all the things that come out of my mouth sometimes. Sometimes I'd be like, what the fuck, Jen?
Oh, that's perfect.
And then I change, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I just thought this out a little further. And then, okay, now I've changed. I got new information and I changed my
Mhm.
mind.
That's that
agree
whole
with,
not one-dimensional thing.
30% of my messages in Theresa's history. I'm 30%. I stand by.
Yeah, probably. It's okay. It's just how it goes. And I'm good with it. I'm like, all right, well, let me know when she needs to.
I just feel like, I've been burnt on social media. I have been doxxed on YouTube before I ever had a channel. It was like, I think 2 years ago now. It started on Facebook, and this guy wanted me to go live with him, and I found some things out about the guy, and I saw some things that he did that I didn't agree with. I didn't get into it. It wasn't a knockdown, drag out fight. He asked me to go live, and I said no. The next thing I know, he's live. He's pulled up my Facebook. He's doxing the shit out of me, my son, my where our old address, all the things. For like, thank God he didn't have a good viewership. I think only like 10 people watched him, but it went on for, I'm not talking about 2 hours. I'm talking about 12 hours of regurgitating the same pictures the only pictures he could get from Facebook. And then going by the likes of the one profile picture and finding everybody else. He showed my dad, for Pete's sake.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I was innocent. I didn't do anything other than say, I don't want to co-host with you anymore. That's it. I wasn't nasty about it. I didn't trash him, you know, and even when he went live, Do you think I went in that chat and said shit? Hell no. You know what I did? I copied the timestamps and I turned it into YouTube like a normal person and let YouTube handle it. Could I have clicked that link? He dropped the link. I could have, and I could have read him for filth, but then I would have been giving him what he wanted, which was me on his panel in the first place.
Oh my gosh,
True.
so many times I've had to run in the other direction from those itchy links. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not.
Did YouTube actually take care of that, Jen?
Yeah, I filed a privacy complaint and they removed the video, and then I think he got like a 2-week ban or something like that. But what ended up happening is that he continued to live stream, and he live streamed, and he essayed a woman on a live stream. And yeah, somebody was restreaming it and they called the cops. And the last I heard, he was awaiting trial.
Holy crap.
You made a good decision.
Oh, thank God. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just like, thank God you made the decision that you did.
But it was scary. You know, like that was a huge violation of my privacy. You know what I mean? And I learned from that. And what I learned is that you can't just be clicking links willy-nilly because you think somebody's funny one time. You know what I mean? And what I would say to people is that you can, because I've made some really good, genuine friendships on social media. Like the Word Girls, they're my really good, true friends. I tell them everything. And through them, I've met you girls. And, but what I'll say is I learned from my experiences, and when you are meeting somebody online, it's no different than meeting them in real life. You got to take it slow. You don't be divulging your most deepest, darkest secrets to somebody that you've known for 3.5 days, even though internet time is accelerated, because you just got to take your time. People, I think, are inherently good, and you can make online friendships, but you know.
Do you know what's funny about that is that I was like afraid of Theresa for probably the good first entire year that we worked together. Like,
oh wow,
I just didn't want to like incur her wrath. Like, every time I said something, I'd be like, she doesn't like me. Every time I said something, she'd be like, well, where'd you get that from? Like, she didn't just believe me right away.
That's funny.
Damn it, she still does this to me. But like, I
like to prove it right or wrong. It wasn't a personal. It's never a personal thing. It's
in all fairness to Theresa, she just does that across the board. She's like, what is it?
Utter facts.
Yeah, but like
minimal words.
That relationship, like we worked together for the whole first year, and then the second year it was like, okay, like a little opening up more, working closer together more, and then the third year, like definitely way tight, like I tell her all my theories. It's just like it evolved over time. Like,
exactly.
Friendships, they're the best friendships,
and it's definitely one of my most satisfying. I don't know.
It is.
I do things together. We make forward steps all the time. And it's just it's a satisfying, well-built friendship. But like it did take all that time, like getting to know each other's styles and what was happening. And
exactly. And I think Theresa and I have a very similar personality in that I've been accused of being condescending when I'm actually not being condescending. If I'm speaking slowly, it's because my brain works a lot faster than my mouth. You guys have heard me stutter around. And so I have to slow it down because whatever the fuck it is I'm about to say is something important and I want my message to be heard. And it's not because I'm being condescending. It's because I know if I don't slow the fuck down, it's going to come out jumbled and nobody's going to get to hear what I'm trying to convey. That's it. I also have a very low tolerance for bullshit, and I'm not going to, if I have a question about something, I just ask the question. I don't do a whole if then but clause in my brain before I ask the question. If I put the comma here, is this going to be offensive? If I have a question, I just
Right. I'm
ask.
not good at that.
You're the
Yeah.
same way. You are the same way.
I
Teresa,
just-
And I'm not a very good, and this is something that I know this, and it's not, it's, I don't know how to necessarily, I don't even know if I want to change it, but I'm not a good feelings person. Like I'm not good at talking about how I feel about stuff.
Neither am I. It's very fucking uncomfortable. I don't
Yeah, I don't
like
fucking
it.
like it. Even happy, sad, indifferent, I'm not good at it, and I don't express it well. And so it's just like, but I know that about myself. So, and I also fill my plate with 1,000 things. So I'm much more direct than sometimes I is probably perceived as I'm an asshole. But it's literally because I'm like, I have 5 minutes to figure out this, and so let's just do it.
Exactly. Let's just cut to and that. But I will say this: what I have found is that removing emotion, and it does make talking about true crime for me better and a little easier, because of course when I see a case like the Todt case,
Yeah.
I am keenly aware of the events that happen and what that means, but I can remove myself. I can remove the emotions and look at the actions and be able to discuss the things that the questions people have or the topics they bring up or the theories and whatnot without having to reiterate 11 billion times that a family was murdered. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think, but I have my friends are very good at expressing feelings. They're comfortable talking about feelings. I am not, but I will say this: I don't hang around with people that I don't like. So if I'm hanging around you, it's because I like you, and that's that. I'm just never going to be a mushy person. It's just not in my DNA. I don't have that.
I'll hug
That's how
everybody.
I so much agree.
I'm too
Like,
much.
I'll
sometimes.
straight up
I'll
tell-
reel myself back, and I'm
Hey.
just like, Michelle, calm down. Like you're too excited. You're too happy. You're too something. Like calm down. But I always end up meshing with people like a Theresa. Like it's
to balance you.
yeah. Like
It's to
I'm
balance
Yeah, we
you
all have our
because
talents.
yeah,
My talent is not being the one to like come to looking for sympathy. Like, so Theresa doesn't,
Right.
like you came to the wrong chat.
well,
but like I think any of the girls, some of the girls are like definitely the talent is like in engaging, like Michelle, engaging with other people, like in our chats or in the Facebook and stuff, and
Yep.
just being so lovable, like on a way that
Yep.
I am just not capable of. Like I care, but barely. Like on the like I
too many words to get out.
Or it's true because like Michelle will make a post in the Facebook
Yeah.
group and literally it has all the emotion, all the detail, and here I am like I hit share
Right.
and then I'm like,
Just take a share
asshole.
one at a time.
Or like that's it. That's like that's my feelings. So that's what I put, and it's just how it goes. I'm like,
Did you guys click the see more area? You have to click that.
Go over to here.
Yeah, I just here it is. Like it's how I feel real quick. That's it. That's what you're gonna get.
No, but like Jen says, it evens me. Like I don't know. It works for me. It works for me.
I see, but she'll send me like 20 like voice messages, and she's like, "I'm so sorry I did that." But I'm like, I actually love it because then I get to like when I have the 5 minutes, I sit down, I listen. I'm like, I can actually like listen.
I'm like, don't even listen. Just there's 20 of them. Just don't even listen.
I still listen anyway, but it works. It's like it's what it is. It's the yins and the yangs and how everything kind of flows together. And
exactly. And I will say that the ward girls, that what they have taught me is that showing emotion is not a weakness. Not everybody is going to take your emotions and store it in the back of their brain to know how to push your buttons. And they've taught me that. So it's good that I'm around people that are comfortable talking about their feelings. I will never be as comfortable as they are talking about their feelings, but I'm at least 3% more comfortable now than I was before I met them. And they've taught 3%. Me that. At least 3%.
That's awesome, man. You came in because you created, and it's awesome. Look, like you said, they're your girls. Like
they are my girls. And the thing is that we all the one thing that all of us over at the ward have in common is being burned by people we thought we could trust. And so we were all a little bit apprehensive when we first came together. And over the, 2 years now that I have gotten to know these girls, we've developed a really close and strong bond because we didn't just start sharing everything right out of the gate.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that, and the other thing is that they're similar to me in that when a friendship breaks up, people stop becoming friends. It happens. It's sad when it does, but it happens. And I don't agree with going full scorched earth because you are no longer friends. I'll give you a perfect example. I walked away from people many times on Facebook, right? And what I didn't do was then go take screenshots of all the shit that they ever talked about anybody ever. And you know why I didn't do that? Because I never said anything at the time the shit was being talked. So why
That's right.
now that the friendship no longer exists, all of the sudden I have this issue, right? And now everything they said is needs to be exposed. You shouldn't do that. And you shouldn't take things that you learn in the confines of a friendship and use it against the person you're no longer friends with.
No matter what happens. Like I
Exactly.
have that. You will trust me until the end of
And
time.
also,
It's
real
not
friends
coming out.
don't.
Not me.
Exactly. It's not right to do.
No.
Real friends don't like dictate your other friendships. You know, like real friends don't say like who else you are allowed to or not allowed to talk to. Like all
No,
I
of
guess
us,
my
like
friend isn't telling me any of that anyway, because I'm my own damn person. I talk to who I want to. That's one of the first things that turns me off about somebody is telling me who and what
red
and where.
flag. This is
I
an
got
abusive
kids.
relationship.
I'm 42 years old. My
Right.
husband doesn't tell me what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do.
No.
Some person on flipping YouTube sure as hell isn't going to tell me what I am and what I'm not going to do.
Yeah,
I'm stubborn. Don't do that, please.
I don't want the thing. I think this is an Aquarius trait. Aquarius don't like to be controlled, but the thing is they don't want to control anybody either. I don't want anybody controlling me, and I don't want to control anybody else. And I also don't think that I think it's a waste of time for people to try to convince other people about about another person's behavior. People will figure things out for themselves when they're in the time that it takes them. The more somebody tries to tell me something about somebody and that they're a specific way, a way that I've never seen them behave, to try to convince me that they're this person, not that it's currently going on, but it's happened in the past. I'm 45 years old. I've seen some shit. I feel like, why are you telling me this? Why are you working so hard to convince me that this person is bad? Is it because A, they're really that bad and you care and you really are trying to warn me? B, is it because you think that I'm too stupid to see it for myself? Or C, is there something fundamentally fucked up about you that you don't want me paying attention to? And that's why you're so fixated on this person over here. None of those things are, none of those
I love that
options
about
are.
you, Jen.
What? That I'm fucked up?
No, it's so true.
That you recognize all this. And by the way, did you fill out our panel guest star contract before you went on, or did Theresa send that over? Or not? Did you fill out the contract?
No contracts. No contracts.
No contracts.
God. It's like, let's just talk about true crime and
Be
have
done.
fun. And
That's what I want to do. Exactly. And sometimes, and this is what happens. We have talked about true crime. We've talked about a lot of things, but we've not talked about any people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, besides Amber Heard.
Well,
but she shit somebody's bed. So
she's she's part of the true crime.
Yeah.
See, talking. That's the thing.
That should be illegal. Shit in somebody's bed.
It should be. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're in a pandemic right now, people.
Oh my god.
My husband's looking at me like it's time to go walk the dog.
Jen, how much do we owe you? This was really, really good.
I know. You had to come back and hang out with us again.
I will.
I've had so much fun with you on panel. I love your insight. I love the way your brain works.
Your
Thank
energy
you.
is like fucking amazing. Like, thank you. Just
It
thank
really
you
is.
guys. Thank you.
You
I
can't
will.
do-
If
you
you
can't
guys
use
keep
purple for the next
lavishing
2
these
weeks.
compliments on me, you're never gonna get rid of me. Be like
No,
feeding
I
a
don't want to.
feeding
Nope.
a feral cat. I'll never leave.
my
I'm
neck.
a lover, Jen. I will feed the feral cats, just so they say.
Me too. Me too. I feel. Yeah. There's a couple of them that have been hanging out around here, and I've been feeding them because I feel bad. They're
Yeah.
I just they can't help them. Look, could they if they absolutely had to? They've obviously found some way to keep themselves alive. They're feeding themselves, but like they probably have to catch their food, and they probably go a while between catches. You're not always
Yeah, that's not fair.
successful.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not always. So I just do what I can.
Me and my one neighbor, we feed the cats together.
Yeah, I think that's part of being a decent human. Help when you can, and help who you can, when you can. So thank you guys for having me. You guys are all, always welcome on my panel anytime you want to. I love it when you guys come to chat. You guys bring such great, you just have such a great vibe about you guys. All four of you. Well, I'm four, three of you.
Yeah, you're 4, but you have a
I'm
great
number
vibe. So
4.
it counts still.
There you go. I just
Like you in our foursome.
I think that these are the moments when they can be, and I hate to be so cliche, but kind of inspiring. Whoever's watching this now and who may watch it on a replay, it may spark something in them. And if we can show that it can be done, it will at least, if nothing else, encourage other people to try.
I agree.
Hallelujah.
That's my TED Talk.
Oh my gosh, did I just participate in a 4-hour live?
You did. I don't even have
we're
4
like
hours.
officially in now, right?
That was so fast.
This is the longest I've been on
You know,
live in a
don't talk
long
about how late
time.
I was.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, my husband's looking at me like, what's going on? What are you
that's
doing? Like, I literally went and picked up a kid. I switched to my phone. Like, no, I've loved it. I really
paid
appreciate
$20
it.
in Robux since I've been here. I'm saving my receipt.
I think Chad stopped moving a while ago.
That's a tax write-off right there.
Good combo, for sure.
But I love you,
All right,
ladies. Thank you
guys.
so much. Thank you for spending so much time with me tonight.
Night, guys.
And chat, whoever's still here listening and commenting. I appreciate you guys too.
Thanks for having me.
Andy's not.
Good night.
Absolutely. Anytime, Jen, you are always welcome.
Yes.
And you
Even
guys
when we
are
talk
all
about Scott
welcome.
Peterson.
Oh,
Yes.
I like to talk about
my
Scott
God.
Peterson.
Yeah, Christine's not welcome on that live though.
Oh,
Okay.
Christine can't come now.
Sorry,
I don't think
Christine.
you do.
Good luck with your ugly background that
Yeah,
day.
what? Yeah, she'll have some like electric chair up there or something
I'll have
for him.
no graphics. Watch.
I know
Yeah.
how to make the graphics. I'll help you.
If I catch you on another
Thanks, Jen.
channel's live stream about Scott Peterson, I'm gonna be pissed.
I'll be like, all right, Jen, we're gonna do it on your channel instead.
Oh my God.
And I'll set the stream for everyone but Christine. Everyone
Right,
but
exactly.
Christine can view.
Christine's blog
Oh.
for chat.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and we'll see you on the next Friday Night Live.
Absolutely. Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Bye, ladies.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Love your